And now finally, we head over to the men. Don't worry, we won't waste our lot of time with a lot of these people. Aaron Solo is first up, mostly used as a jobber on Ring of Honor television. I believe he was featured as a jobber on AEW TV once or twice, but mostly just used on Ring of Honor.
All right. Well, there you go. Your job in Ring of Honor. That's right next to the unemployment line.
Oh, right over there. Yeah. No. Yeah. Not there, but right.
Not that door.
Unemployment.
Next door. Sorry, sir. It's been a rough go of it. Fumble with Bailey, and now this. I feel your pain.
Action Andretti is next up, mostly used in trios action, tag team action along Top Flight. It wasn't until later in the year that he started to show a little bit more personality, becoming like the rebel in the group, not being satisfied with their failures and losses, started showing some frustration with the rest of his team, which led to a recent heel turn alongside Leo Rush to form a new tag team. They became the number one contenders for the AEW World Tag Team Champions on the December 14th edition of AEW Collision. So, what do you think about Action Andretti?
I'm leaning mid.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Mid?
Yeah. Where do you think he lands in this bunch of women?
Maybe behind Anna Jay. How far back do you want to go? That's the right.
I would say behind the jobbers to the stars.
Okay, that's good. I'm not mad at that.
Oh boy.
Wait a minute. How long was he hurt? I don't want to have this conversation.
Yeah, this is true. You're right. He was out until October.
Because otherwise,
he should go right next to his ex.
Yeah. Otherwise, sir, be having a hard conversation. I don't call no disrespect.
Would have had to have a hard conversation before we even get there. Might as well, other Adam.
Right. Dummy. I'm sorry. I love you, Edge. The fuck were you even thinking about? Good Lord.
I might have to run through this because we might have a few of these. Bandito.
Right. He's coming back.
Yeah, he's coming back, but he was out most of the year. Daddy Magic, go next to your pregnant missus. I mean, no, not Daddy Magic. Cool Hand Ange.
Yeah, the other one. The one that's going to be on the other tier soon.
Not as hilarious as the other one. Chuck Taylor, you got your neck broken. You died. So, yeah. You're never there, Colt Cabana. Like we lost CM Punk for nothing.
All this shit because of you. Because of this nigga who's never here. What the fuck? Hangman will pay for his crimes. This nigga.
Journalistico, I don't know if you were hurt or not, but you were never here really. I think Eddie Kingston.
Eddie Kingston. Man, that hurts.
Yeah, we got to put him at the top. Yeah. Top stars got to go to the top of niggas always hurt. Top stars to the top. Keith Lee, you always hurt apparently.
Yeah, what the fuck?
He was out for the whole year. The whole year.
Hey?
I hope so. God damn, the whole year? Really? Kota Ibushi's another one. Like, Jesus. Kota Ibushi will go up here. Where's Kenny Omega? Because yeah, poor thing. Like I wanted to rank you, Kenny, but we can't. You've been out all year long. You go to the top. You go to the tippy top. Sorry, tippy top. Nigga always hurt. All right, let's talk about Hangman Adam Page in 2024. He came into this year kind of on the brink of insanity. It felt like he wasn't on the brink of insanity, but he was showing signs of going crazy due to his losses against Swerve Strickland, especially the Full Gear Texas Death Match. He came into this year and he wanted to do anything to stop Swerve Strickland from becoming the AEW World Champion. So when Swerve stepped up to Samoa Joe for the title, Hangman Page did as well. They tore it up in one of the best TV matches of the year on AEW Dynamite, going to a 30-minute time limit draw. And in the process, of Hangman Adam Page denying not only Swerve but the fans 5 more minutes after the draw, we had a double turn, which had Hangman Adam Page turning heel, Swerve Strickland turning babyface. They confirmed the heel turn with Hangman faking an injury and then attacking Swerve before Revolution. In the match at Revolution, Hangman attacked the referee when Swerve had the cover and the win in the matchup. He then tapped out to Samoa Joe right before Swerve was able to break up the submission to make sure Swerve didn't become AEW World Champion. Hangman took some time off for a few months to have a second child with his wife. Congratulations. And then came back in the summer going into the Owen Hart Memorial Cup tournament to get back at the AEW World Championship and Swerve Strickland. He went to the finals of the tournament and came up short against Bryan Danielson, but that only pushed him further and further to the brink of insanity. He had people like Jeff Jarrett getting in his way, causing a small rivalry there. This led into All In when he was a part of the Casino Gauntlet. Jarrett cost him that matchup, hitting a guitar over his head, which led into Hangman getting involved in the main event at All In and distracting Swerve for a bit. It did not lead immediately to Swerve taking the loss, but Swerve eventually did lose the AEW World Championship. Hangman and Swerve were now at the point of no return, and they had to fight one more time, and it was decided to be a lights-out steel cage matchup at All Out. But to up the ante, right after Swerve Strickland used his new contract as AEW World Champion to buy his childhood home, Hangman Adam Page gave us one of the best moments of the year when he burnt the man's house to the ground. Then went on to not only basically use a cinder block to try to kill this man by powerbombing him on it, he put a syringe in his mouth and cracked a chair over his head to finally beat Swerve Strickland. Had one of the biggest reaction orgasms I've ever seen in a professional wrestling format after the matchup. He went on to beat Jeff Jarrett at Grand Slam, then went into a rivalry with Switchblade Jay White into the fall. They had 2 great matches at Wrestle Dream and Full Gear. The one at Wrestle Dream I thought was one of probably the most underrated matches of the year for AEW. But coming off the heels of that rivalry, they have now found themselves back in the main event scene, and Hangman Adam Page will get another opportunity at the AEW World Championship for the first time since Revolution at World's End when he gets a shot against world champion Jon Moxley in a 4-way with Switchblade Jay White and Orange Cassidy. What have you thought about Hangman Adam Page's year? What a year when it comes to character work and promo work. I think this was by far, in my opinion, the best character work and promo work of Hangman's career in 2024.
Really good work. The feud with Swerve, even though it's really only half the feud, the other half was last year. Top tier stuff. I lose a little bit because he does have a little lull there, like towards All In. I'm gonna say main event. I still think he maintained the main event slot.
That is fair. Join Willow over here in the main event. Hangman, or highest up for the men so far. Then we got, if I have to look close, you're probably going to go into Contract Not Renewed. Alex Abrahantes. We don't have Lucha Bros anymore.
You poor bastard. Yeah. You poor bastard. Holding get somebody on the phone. I mean, Cody couldn't get QT hired. I don't know who that is. I'm not doing that.
I don't know who that is. We don't have a GPS for that. We have Alex Reynolds of the Dark Order. Dark Order didn't do much. They were featured on Ring of Honor television a lot throughout 2024. They were featured in the Death Riders early part of the storyline as basically cannon fodder to them getting beat down every single week. But what have you thought? What should we put? I guess all of Dark Order we can talk about when we get
Fantastic. Where they should be? Come on now, at the absolute bottom. But
for 2024,
mid, I suppose. That's as low as I can go about them getting released.
That's the lowest I could go without getting them released. You say that like you want to release them.
We have to move on from things that hold us back, sir. Dark Water, anything that's from 2019. Jesus. This company's been around forever. How are these niggas still here? Come on, man. Some of these people got to go. No disrespect.
All right, John Silver, we'll get to you when we find you. Angelico is another kind of Ring of Honor guy, mostly used over there, has been used as part of the tag team with Serpentico. He got a Pure Championship matchup, 2 Pure Championship matchups, I believe, against Willie Yuta one and then Lee Moriarty, but yeah, I think mid.
Surgery.
Mid, unfortunately.
Clear this roster out real quick.
Yes, we are.
Oh.
AR Fox we can put over there in the mid category. Anyone who's prominently featured on ROH, we're going to give you mid honors. Daivari is another one.
What's the name of that group again?
The Premier Athletes.
Did you have a group before that?
The Trustbusters.
Thank you, sir. I remember being told by a certain con, not named Nick, that the Trust Busters were going to be the next big thing. So what we did with 2.0. You saw what we did with the Acclaim. This is the next one. They keep telling me I can't do it, and I do it. Yeah, how'd that work out? Stupid.
Shit, shut your
Never
bitch up.
Forget it.
Anthony Bowens, the Acclaim had a weird year. They had the Bang Bang Scissor Gang storyline with the Bang Bang Gang in the early portion of the year. They were the 6-man. They were the trios champions until they lost to the Bang Bang Gang. I believe that was at Dynasty. Then from there, they went after the AEW World Tag Team Champions in a feud with the Young Bucks that then involved FTR going into All In. Good match at All In. They came up short for the AEW World Tag Team titles. They tried to go back after the titles in a 4-way at Full Gear, but they came up short there. And now we've been seeing the slow burn dissension being built between Anthony Bowens and Max Caster in the Acclaim ever since MVP gave them the business card for the Hurt Syndicate and Max Caster held on to it. We also had the awesome performance by Anthony Bowens in the Blood and Guts matchup where he really stood out and had one of his best performances of his entire AEW run. Where do you think we should put Bowens?
I think that year was better than mid. I gotta go better than mid. So above that is mid card, if I'm remembering correctly.
No, deserve better.
Oh,
I would say deserve better.
Okay. I gotta be honest. Usually I would have him ahead of Max, but I feel like Max has turned it on recently too. I ain't gonna hold you. This new character he's got.
Yeah, because they finally embraced the fact that these two should not be together.
It is a weird fit. It's not the fact the light skin.
Anthony Agogo, you're never here. I think you're hurt. So Nick is always hurt. The Guns. Austin and Colton Gunn were, of course, a part of the Bang Bang Gang, the early portion of the year, teaming up with Jay White, winning AEW World Trio Championships, their second set of titles that they've won during their AEW run. Had a nice little run as AEW Trios champions until Jay White went down with a foot injury in the summer and they had to relinquish the titles. They tried to wrestle him back alongside Juice Robinson in a pretty entertaining feud with the Patriarchy as well as House of Black. Eventually, they lost in the 4-way ladder match that was won by the future Death Riders. They were not the Death Riders at that time. But from there, Austin and Colton Gunn got involved in the whole Switchblade Jay White versus Hangman Adam Page rivalry, with Hangman taking out both members of the Guns. I believe Austin is currently injured, so him and Colton have been off TV since then. But what have you thought about the year for the Guns?
To me, this is kind of a standstill year for them. I don't remember where we had them last year, but my guess would be, I'm not sure they deserve better. Maybe top of the mid or near the top of the mid, maybe.
Okay. That's fair enough. That is fair enough. Yeah, I would say top of the mid.
As Colton is significantly more talented, Austin kind of has this Max Caster thing going, where I think his annoyance could work for him in the long run. Sorry.
That is a good point. That is a good point. Next, we have another one of our low-key favorites. Large William, Big Bill. Big Bill. Oh, what an interesting year Big Bill had. He came into this year as one half of the AEW World Tag Team Champions with Ricky Starks.
That was this year?
Yes,
Damn.
that was this year. They went on to lose those tag team titles to Sting and Darby Allin in a great match in Phoenix, where Sting finally won gold in AEW. From there, Big Bill was off television for a couple of months and then came back and wanted to become the first follower of the Learning Tree, Chris Jericho, which Chris Jericho dubbed him the Redwood. So he would become the enforcer for Chris Jericho, involved in his rivalries against Shibata and Hook and Samoa Joe throughout the summer, spring, and the fall. Felt like forever. Then they feuded going into All in London, where they blew off their rivalry with Hook. There was the big matchup that he had with Hook on Collision, where the Cardiff Wales crowd adored him with the Big Bill chants and fell in love with him, which led many people to want a Big Bill babyface turn going against Chris Jericho. But we still haven't seen that quite yet. But he has stood out in all of his showings, especially when it comes to on the mic and embracing his character. And like I say, every time we're on AE Ramble, it's not what he says, it's his delivery of the lines he says in the whole Learning Tree act, where he has been probably the most consistent performer in the Learning Tree act, where I'm always like, I was pleased with Big Bill at the very least, even if the segment wasn't well done. But he's been in feuds with the Conglomeration, Mark Briscoe, the Whatnot, helped Jericho win the Ring of Honor World Championship in October. What do you think about the year for Big Bill?
He's consistently entertaining, even though his segments are not always consistently entertaining because he's got to carry to the people. But his performance in particular is always great. I'm going to say he deserved better because he has been crushing it. I can't believe I just said that about Big Bill. The fuck's name used to be? Cass.
Yeah.
And what was it before that? I mean, after that, right after that?
W. Morrissey.
Yeah. Ew. Big Bill was definitely better. Sorry.
Oh, I love it. The Daddy Ass, Billy Gunn.
Released for his crimes against humanity.
Oh, yeah, for the Jay White match. That's true. I agree. Sorry.
Disgusting.
Sorry. Khan is another regularly used Ring of Honor talent. So you go in mid. Bobby Lashley. I don't even know if he should be here. He's only just got here.
Yeah.
He just moved in, guys. He just moved in. But he came in with a great introduction at AEW Fright Night Dynamite. The Hurt Syndicate has been very well used in the first 2 months in All Elite Wrestling. He picked up that dominant win over Swerve Strickland at Full Gear. I guess if we are going to judge him on his first 2 months in AEW, where do you think?
Probably as an all-star. So he's been used relatively well as part of this threesome. I wouldn't be my favorite use of Lashley. I don't think he should be on TV all the time, especially when Shelton Benjamin was doing most of the work. But yeah, all-star.
That's right. Next up, Brandon Cutler.
Yeah.
Brian Cage, is this just he's ROH TV champion. He won the TV title this year.
Oh.
So
he's been a Dynamite a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe towards the top of mid here. Unless you think he deserves better, I'm not mad at that either.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's put him next to the other ROH TV champion, the women's TV champion. Let's put him over here. All right, there we go. All right, next up we have Brody King.
Ooh.
Brody King. Brody King. So Brody King, he started off the year with, of course, the House of Black. Coming off the heels of the Continental Classic, he was in a feud with Daniel Garcia and FTR alongside House of Black, which really dominated the main event scene over on Collision. They had an awesome steel cage trios matchup, which Garcia and FTR eventually won. From there, he was involved in different kind of trios feuds. He's kind of been kind of sporadically used throughout the summer. They were involved in the trio storyline for the trios championships heading into All In with the Patriarchy and the Bang Bang Gang. He lost that matchup in the matchup, but he definitely did stand out. He had the really good short-term rivalry with Darby Allin, rekindling their rivalry and the great match at Wrestle Dream between the two of them. And really, he's been highlighted well throughout the Continental Classic so far, returning to the Continental Classic this year, kind of teasing a babyface turn, which was kind of teased in the Darby Allin rivalry, but has been further emphasized in the early portion of the Continental Classic. Brody King feels like his stock is more on the rise at the end of 2024 than it was throughout the majority of 2024.
Yeah, I try to avoid prison at the moment. So I'm going to say between deserve better and whatever's ahead of that. Yeah, he spent a lot of time doing a whole lot of nothing. No disrespect. Yeah, I want to say deserve better. Wait, make sure choose. Can Jesus. Can I justify that? I'm not sure I can justify that.
Can't justify mid-card?
Yeah. I mean, Harley Cameron's here.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was like, come on. I think he's at he's at just on par with Harley Cameron.
You can put Brody over there. I'm not mad at that.
In the mid-card. Oh, man. The American Dragon. Bryan Danielson. Kicked off the year involved in a rivalry with Eddie Kingston coming off the heels of the Continental Classic. They feuded over the Continental Championship. He was also dealing with everything in New Japan Pro Wrestling coming off the heels of Wrestle Kingdom. He had one of the early Match of the Year candidates against Kazuchika Okada at Wrestle Kingdom 18 in the Tokyo Dome. From there, he rekindled his rivalry with Zack Sabre Jr. and had one of the most outstanding technical wrestling matches I have ever seen in Osaka at New Beginning in New Japan Pro Wrestling with Zack Sabre Jr. in February. Then over back in AEW, he tore it up on TV with Shibata, with Hechicero, on his way to having a splendid matchup with Eddie Kingston at Revolution. Then he went into arguably the best 1 month rivalry I've ever seen with him and Bryan Danielson and Will Ospreay of who was the best. That was the simple question of the whole entire rivalry. Who is the best wrestler? Is it the Tekker or is it the hybrid of Will Ospreay? And they went in the ring and had one of the most amazing, incredible in-ring displays that we have ever seen in the history of this business at AEW Dynasty. Easily in there in the top 2, top 3 best matches of the year in the entire world of professional wrestling.
Seriously?
What?
Jesus. All right.
Danielson and Ospreay, yeah, absolutely. Then from there, he was involved in the Anarchy in the Arena, representing AEW against Team Elite at Anarchy in the Arena. He took the loss, taking the loss to Jack Perry there, and then he kind of went to the bottom. He found himself at the bottom after that. He was like, I've had enough. I'm done losing. I'm done losing over and over again. This is my final full-time year, so I'm going to put all my chips on the table. I'm going in the Owen Hart Cup, and I'm going to win it. He got victories over Pac. He got victories over Shingo Takagi and eventually defeated Hangman Adam Page to go on to the finals of the Owen Hart Cup, to go to the finals and win against Hangman Adam Page, go on to All In. But Swerve Strickland talked trash about Bryan Danielson being on his last wings, talking about retiring already, talking about he wants to end his career, that he said that Bryan's not taking this serious enough, which made Bryan put up his career. And we got one of the greatest main events in AEW history in Wembley Stadium, AEW All In London, where Bryan defeated Swerve, won the championship, celebrated with his family in the post-match. Bryan, as AEW World Champion, said when he loses the title, he ends his full-time career. He defeated Jack Perry in another great matchup at All Out. And then the Blackpool Combat Club turned on Bryan Danielson, suffocating him with a plastic bag, which led into Bryan versus Moxley. Also, in the interim, he got to rekindle his rivalry with Nigel McGuinness at Grand Slam in a great matchup. Then he had a great matchup with Okada on the anniversary show as well. Eventually got to Moxley at Wrestle Dream, where Moxley defeated him in another fantastic main event matchup at Wrestle Dream. Moxley became the new champion, and the Death Riders put the nail in the coffin, stopping the chair over Bryan's neck after Wheeler Yuta turned on him. Whew. 2024, the final full-time year for the American Dragon.
You're not going to believe this from the next minute or so, but Bryan Danielson is one of my top 5 favorite wrestlers ever. However, not a great match for Nigel McGuinness. No disrespect. What was the other one? Right after Nigel? There's one more where you said I was like, I watched that match. No, it wasn't. Oh, Okada. Not a great match for Okada. The match with Ospreay isn't even my top 3 Ospreay matches of the year. I hate to be so rude. I love Dragon. I know it didn't sound like it. I do. I swear. He's number for top 5 favorite wrestlers ever. But I have no problem with everything else you said. Fantastic year. I think he maintains his main event spot, even though you all tried to ruin it with Jack Perry.
I think that's a keep at all cost year, but
you think that's a keep at all cost year? You lose to Jack Perry in a match, and then you have a.
He didn't lose to Jack Perry.
No, in the Anarchy and Arena match, and then he wrestles Jack Perry in his first major title defense. That is not a keep at all cost year. That is this nigga's old and needs to go away year. But the rest of the year was splendid, so we get to maintain the spot. It might be maintain the spot.
Sorry. Brian Keith is next. Brian Keith started off the year getting his AEW contract. He had a good matchup with Eddie Kingston on Collision. Then he had a strong showing against Shibata and Hook, where he didn't win the FTW #1 contendership. But eventually he joined up with Chris Jericho, becoming the bad apple in the learning tree alongside Chris Jericho, and really just being an enforcer who just talks trash a lot. He was the talker, the backup guy. He reminded me more of like the guy that did the ad-libs in Pootie Tang, who would repeat everything after the other guy said it. That's what basically his character is. Not a lot of standout matches, even though he's a very good wrestler, because he hasn't been given a lot of opportunities. Just been mainly his character work as part of the learning tree.
We had Big Bill in the mid card, right? No, we had Big Bill and Deserved Better. Great, fantastic. What you call it could be in mid, wherever you want in the mid. They're not on the same level. Knock it off. Go on now.
Okay. Put him behind the Jobbers to the Stars. Buddy Matthews, similar to what I said about Brody King, the only other things kind of without the House of Black that Buddy Matthews did, he had a strong matchup with Adam Cole recently on TV. He had a bunch of strong matches on TV and pay-per-view. He got a win at Full Gear in a 4-way matchup, but he feels like a deserved better, and I can't.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't know how that'll ever happen.
The only kind of misstep that he had was that really long match that didn't need to be long against Adam Cole.
Right. We got in trouble for that. Well, also one guy complaining. You guys just been brainwashed to not like long matches. It's 35 minutes with this nigga Ed should squash. Knock it off.
I'm surprised you remember that, because you gave Bryan versus Ospreay 5 stars, and now you said it's not even in your top 3 matches of the year. So
I didn't say it's not my top. Well, it's not my top 3 matches of the year. That's certainly true. What do you want from me? You think it's better than Dragon and Swerve?
I think it's 1 and 2. Those are 1 and 2.
Really?
Yeah, for me.
I can't believe I'm giving Uncle Ruckus this credit and you're not. I think that match is like beyond splendid. That's one of my favorite matches ever. That's top 3 for me ever. Period. Point blank. No disrespect to anybody. That's Bret Austin.
That's the greatest match I've ever seen live.
Dragon and Swerve?
Yeah. I wasn't there for Dragon and Ospreay. But Dragon and Ospreay is one of the greatest matches I've ever seen, period.
You think it's on par with Dragon and Swerve? I can't believe what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
I watched this fucking match again. It's better than Dragon.
You do.
Dragon and Swerve.
Yeah, you do. I agree. You do.
On?
Yeah, you do.
Dragon and Swerve? The one from Allin I'm talking about.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Next up,
the emotions. Nothing. All right, whatever.
Next up, we got FTR, Cash Wheeler, Dax Harwood, former AEW World Tag Team Champions, but that did not happen this year. They were in a terrific matchup actually with the Blackpool Combat Club at Revolution. That was preceded by another great matchup that they had, a time limit draw on Dynamite. They had a couple of time limit draws throughout this year. They had one with the Acclaim on Collision. They had one with Claudio and Wheeler Yuta on Collision as well. They were involved in the title feud, the finals of the tag team title tournament at Dynasty in a ladder match against the Young Bucks. That was great. Then they were involved in the Anarchy in the Arena, another awesome matchup at Double or Nothing. At All In, they were involved in the 3-way matchup for the tag team titles. Good matchup there. And then, they kind of been mismatched. Like the second half of the year has not been the strongest for them. They had to deal with the hurricanes going on in Asheville, North Carolina, so they were gone for a couple of months there. But they've mostly been used in like multi-man matches. Just recently finding themselves finally back in a real storyline, getting involved in the Death Rider story. But what have you thought about FTR in 2024?
Whatever the opposite of synergetic is. Synergy is things that are greater than some of the parts. You read the year to me. I went, that's a pretty good year. But if you would ask me before you said that, I would have went, I can't go higher than mid-card. I just can't do it. I refuse.
That's fair. We gotta put them at the top. Put them next to their Collision hierarchy with Thunder Rosa. Here we go.
The opposite of synergetic. What?
Hi guys, it's Chris Jericho. Jericho started off the year teaming up with Sammy against Ricky Starks and Big Bill. They lost. It was a great matchup, though, at Battle of the Belts in January. From there, he found himself without Sammy, I believe, because Sammy got suspended. And then he was in, he had a pretty good matchup with Takeshita that Dave Meltzer overrated, gave it 4.25 stars. Takeshita beat him. Then he got into a scramble match at Revolution where Hook dropped him on his head, which led to Jericho having the brilliant idea of having a 6-month rivalry with Hook. They faced at Dynasty in a singles match. They faced at Double or Nothing in a triple threat match. They faced at Forbidden Door in a trios match. They faced at All In another singles match. Eventually, Hook got the win. He dropped the FTW Championship and then went right into a feud for the Ring of Honor World Championship. In between that, he redid his 4-year-ago storyline with Orange Cassidy, which featured one of the worst use of a forklift I've ever seen before, where they dropped pennies on Jericho's convertible. Then they had a very long matchup, pretty good, but very long matchup on Dynamite, which Orange won. And then he moved right into a title match after he lost. Him and Mark Briscoe, they did have good matches because Mark Briscoe is just affectionately entertaining. And Jericho won the Ring of Honor World Championship. And now he's going to Hammerstein Ballroom, one of the homes of Ring of Honor, to verse Matt Cardona. But he did show up at GCW, of all places, over the weekend. So who knows what 2025 is going to hold for Chris Jericho?
My guess is he has the exact same year. He's treated like an all-star. We gotta be honest about it. He just is.
Yes.
His performance,
but his
however,
performance,
it's not all star. It just isn't. I guess I can go mid card. He certainly doesn't deserve better. I mean, he's been treated like a god as compared to his talent. You would think he was 35 years old. That's the way they treat him.
I would put him at the top of the mid.
I like it. At the top of the mid? Oh my God. What? Jesus. With the guns? He's treated like an all-star. His treatment has to count for something. You said positioning counts. His positioning has to count.
All right.
Speaking of which,
I
was looking at this list.
Yeah.
And as much as I love Willow and would do fantastic and awful things to her, Dragon is a notch above these two. No disrespect. So positioning wise and performance wise, he's Dragon. So I would put him behind Tony Storm.
See. This is what happened last year. We had disagreements, but we came to an understanding. Thank you, sir. I'm glad.
I go with my Jack Perry, whatever the opposite of bias is. Hatred.
Hatred, yeah, that would be the word. Next up, we got Christian Cage. He finished off his absolutely fantastic rivalry with Adam Copeland in March. In between that, he had a great match with Daniel Garcia at Revolution. Him and Copeland had an awesome close to their rivalry. I believe that was in Toronto, like a no DQ or no I Quit matchup in Toronto to close out their feud with Christian losing. But Christian did not let that deter him. He went right into an AEW World Championship matchup at Double or Nothing, coming back into a top program with Swerve Strickland. They had a great matchup at Double or Nothing. From there, Christian was not deterred at all. He went into the AEW Trios World Championship division, teaming up with Nick Wayne and Killswitch to win the titles over the summer. They defended the titles in a multi-tag team, multi-trios ladder match at Allin, where they lost that matchup. But what was the theme of Christian Cage's year again? He did not let that deter him, because in the same damn show, he goes on and wins the Casino Gauntlet, gets a guaranteed title shot at the AEW World Championship. Since then, he has been teasing cashing in. He's also been involved in a storyline with Kip Sabian, who has been trying to gain acceptance into the patriarchy. He also was involved in attacking Taz, which has drawn the ire of Hook, which he has explained that rivalry to perfection, that I'm not even going to go into detail on how confusing it was at the beginning and how much it makes sense now after Christian explains it. But that is the key and the beauty of Christian Cage. While not, in my opinion, as strong as a keep at all costs 2023 that he had, I think that he has maintained a main event level. Despite going down the card, he has been entertaining to above the level of where he's been positioned.
Well, he's got a main event match with whatever match ended that fucking where Ed showed up. Was that this year or last year?
Yeah, that was this year. I think it was March 20th Dynamite.
Okay. Yeah, I'm stuck between main event and All Star. Him and Hangman have had, I don't say comparable years, but close enough. You know what? Yeah.
He was TNT champion, Trios champion. Yeah.
Right. This is true. Yeah, I'm probably being a prisoner at the moment. The Hook stuff is beneath him, obviously. But still fun. I'll go main event.
Claudio Castagnoli originally started off the year as part of the Blackpool Combat Club. He was involved in the tag team storyline, the tag team rivalry with FTR, leading into Revolution, a pair of excellent matches with FTR, the time limit draw on Dynamite, and then they match up at Revolution with him and Moxley picking up the win. I believe he had another tremendous matchup against Will Ospreay on Dynamite, leading into Dynasty when Ospreay faced Danielson. He's been involved in kind of on the outlier of everything going on with Danielson to end off his final year. He was confused on why Danielson teamed up with Eddie Kingston and to get involved with the Elite. But then he was also kind of teaming up with Wheeler Yuta occasionally. They got into the trios division where they paired up with Pac and they won the trios titles at All in London. He celebrated with Bryan in the ring at All in London to close the show with his family. He was in a really good tag team matchup against the Young Bucks with Wheeler Yuta at All Out. And then he was involved in one of the more memorable moments of the year, the BCC turning on Bryan Danielson at All Out with the plastic bag. He was the one that pulled the trigger to cause the whole heel turn. And he's been an enforcer role in this whole Death Rider storyline. And he's been very much kind of reestablished with wins over Darby Allin, Brody King, as well as Ricochet in the last couple of weeks in the Continental Classic. He's been going well over there, having good matches, great matches at the same time. So not as far as like a strong like top 2-tier year, but I think he still had a very, very solid year for Claudio.
Agreed. He's had a really good year, particularly as of late, the last couple months. He's been a threat. Ironically, I think he fits right between All-Star and Midcard. While the Death Riders have been the most important thing on AEW TV, I don't think he is the most important person in that feud. I don't think anybody would argue that. The question is he? You know what? No disrespect. I love Thunder Rosa and FTR, but he's on Dynamite. You guys are not. So he's the bottom All-Star. Sorry.
I was gonna put him above Bobby because of Bobby's length in the company.
Pause. This is true.
In the company. I didn't say, damn it. Niggas always hurt. There you go, Danhausen. Let me see. Is there anyone else? Well, you're not really hurt, but you're not really here. You're not really around. So
all right. Poor Griff.
Yeah, Griff. John Silver, you go with the rest of Dark Order into the mid category. We'll pair you up with your group. Don't worry. We'll do the.
Luther's about to get fired. Or still backstage. Luther's about to be gone. Yeah, we don't need you anymore. Sorry. She's lost her memory. We don't need you anymore.
She don't even remember you, fam. Like, you're not even supposed to be here. I'm trying to see who else. Who else here do we have to just get rid of? Go all the way to the bottom and then work my way back up. Well, we'll get to these people. I already saw Penta, so contract not. Then we got Daniel Garcia, who had a very interesting year. Started off the year very strong, coming off the heels of his win in the Continental Classic. He was feuding against House of Black alongside FTR, picking up a big win in his career in a steel cage against House of Black with FTR beside him on Collision. From there, he challenged Christian Cage for the TNT Championship at Revolution, coming up just short in a very good matchup. He's been involved in various other storylines. He was going after the International Championship in the early portion of the summer. Had a strong matchup, great match with Will Ospreay at Beach Break in the summer. Coming up short there, he had a friendly type of rivalry with MJF, which turned into a bitter rivalry after MJF turned heel against him, bloodying him, taking him out for a few months. He eventually made his return at All In, costing MJF the International Championship against Will Ospreay. He came up short against MJF in an excellent matchup at All Out, but he got a measure of revenge by dropping him on his head with a power driver. He took a month and a half off after that and came back, re-signed to AEW as his contract status had become a big story outside of AEW television over the last couple of months. And then he's taken a leadership position in AEW against the Death Riders, at the same time defeating Jack Perry at Full Gear to become the TNT champion. So good year. Finally won some gold in AEW. Where do you got Daniel Garcia?
If you would have asked me this right after the Jack Perry match, I probably would have said the bottom of the All-Star. Unfortunately for him, I feel like the Continental Classics kind of hurt his momentum. I think he'd be at the top of the mid-card.
That's fair. Thunder Rosa, your top of the mid-card spot is gone. We got to put the TNT champion here.
Goddamn shame. Fucking 4th level champion. Ain't this a bitch?
Then we got Top Flight. Not much of note. They have been featured on ROH and AEW, but nothing of like memorable note really. Like they kind of just been used in matches. They had a short little TV rivalry with Private Party at the early portion of the year, but not much of note for Top Flight in 2024.
Yeah, sorry for the brothers, so to speak. Mid, I can't say deserve better. I mean, you tell me, have they improved much over the last time I saw them feature on Dynamite? I would imagine not.
Not really. Put you with the guns. Put you behind the guns. They're champions. Next up, oh man, one of our favorites, Darby Allin. What a year for Darby Allin. Should we just say that off the top? Comes into the year, starting off the year, has a banger. The first banger of the year for AEW was him versus Konosuke Takeshita on AEW Dynamite on TV in January. That was this year. Then him and Sting have a great match against Ricky Starks and Big Bill to win the AEW World Tag Team Championships. He was involved in I thought it was a really compelling and really well done week-to-week build going into the Sting retirement at Revolution, with everything going down with the Young Bucks returning, the Young Bucks showing their new EVP characters, the assault on Sting's family and Darby after they won the tag team titles. That was just great stuff being done on the way to Revolution. And then the match at Revolution was my tag team match of the year. Just Darby putting his body on the line with that crazy dive off the top of the ladder. Sting putting in one Herculean performance to close out his career, and the Young Bucks probably greatest performance of their careers as well in that one matchup. From there, he got involved in a mini rivalry with Jay White going into Big Business. They had a great match there, which led to the Bang Bang Gang taking out Darby Allin. But Darby Allin hiatus was supposed to be for him to climb Mount Everest, but he broke his foot in the matchup against Jay White, so he wasn't able to climb Mount Everest. Despite getting hit by a goddamn bus, he comes back 2 months later to be a part of Anarchy in the Arena, which with a broken nose from the bus, he decides he wants to hang upside down while the Young Bucks super kick him with thumbtack sneakers right in his face. So he's out for just a little bit longer after that. He gets back involved in the war against the Elite. He becomes a part of Team AEW in the awesome Blood and Guts matchup, where he was one of like the best performers in that matchup and got the victory by threatening to set Jack Perry on fire after setting him on fire in the Anarchy in the Arena matchup. Then him and Jack Perry had their coffin match at All In. He came up short there. He was involved in the whole initial storyline with Jon Moxley and the Death Riders, where he stupidly would not back down from the bully. He wouldn't back down from the bully on the bus with the knife, as he would explain, of Moxley, and puts his title shot on the line at Grand Slam in a great matchup. He comes up short. Jon Moxley becomes #1 contender. He tears it up in a banger matchup with Brody King, while Jon Moxley wins the world title in the main event. He tries to come down to help Bryan at the end of the show, but Wheeler Yuta turns heel. He gets taped to the ropes and have to watch the Death Riders murder Bryan. So he has been at the center of the Death Rider storyline as the main catalyst, the main hero for AEW fighting against the Death Riders. But he's started up in matches against Claudio Castagnoli, teaming up with Orange Cassidy against the Death Riders. Darby Allin, one of the best TV wrestlers ever, really kind of cemented his spot in our eyes. This was the first year that we really kind of took notice of how many great TV matches this guy had. I didn't even mention he had a great match with Hangman Adam Page this year for the first time ever. Like, this dude did not miss. He's got one with Will Ospreay coming up on Wednesday in Washington, D.C. What a year for Darby.
This is about this year, right? And he's had a splendid year. And while I would argue he's not a main eventer all the way this year, I would put him even higher than that. The year to describe, that's a keep at all costs year to me. He feels like the face of AEW. Yeah, top for me.
I agree. This was probably his best year of his whole career.
Yeah. What a great fucking year.
Dustin Rhodes, his contract is supposed to expire, but we don't know if he's going to leave or not. And AEW decided with months left on his deal, they were going to finally give him a push. He had sporadic appearances on AEW early portion of the year, had matches with Jack Perry, I remember, for the lead up into Forbidden Door. He got good promos into that. He would occasionally show up on AEW to lose to like a top heel, but Dustin Rhodes really started getting pushed in the summer when they were in Arlington, Texas, his home state of Texas. He started teaming up with the Von Erichs. They won the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team championships. Then he started teaming up with Sammy Guevara upon his return to the promotion, and they won the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. Had some good matches with the Undisputed Kingdom. Has had a very, very well done storyline with the Righteous over the bull rope that was given to Dutch from Dusty Rhodes. So, not much that you have seen, but regularly featured on Ring of Honor the later portion of the year.
Oh, well, then that's easy.
Double champion in Ring of Honor.
Oh, so you're absolutely at the complete top of mid. The double champion. Apologies, sir.
The double champion of mid.
Apologies, sir. How many fucking last rides does Dustin Rhodes have in him?
I don't know. It's been way too many. Way too many. I'm just gonna start putting like Ring of Honor people. Lee Johnson over here.
Still here? Is he still with Julia Hart?
Yes, he is. Josh Woods over here. Kip Sabian. You were gone most of the year, so we would put you in. Nigga, you were gone. I think that's
Kill Switch. How many years must he gone?
Oh yeah, he's pretty much been gone for like 3-4 months now. So yeah, we'll put him in. Nigga's always gone. Smart Mark Sterling, you'll go with mid with the rest of you. You're like the only manager that we're not going to put in contract not renewed. Because at least with your role, you're here to lose. You entertain on the mic. You have them say athletes suck, and you leave. So you're useful with your spot. So Michael Nakazawa, though, you will go in.
I'm sorry, Charlie.
Yeah. I think that's most. Oh, Nick Camarado, you're hurt, so you can go there.
Poor kid, man.
Ortiz has been injured. He's over there. I think that's it. Oh, Peter Avalon, you will go in mid. No, you're never here. You'll just be never here. Miro, you just. Oh, should we put Miro on contract not renewed or niggas always hurt? Not here.
Jesus, it's kind of Jesus. All right, that's a good question. Is he hurt? Is he just not showing up to work?
I think
make a difference.
I think he's just not showing up to
work. Contract not acknowledged. He doesn't acknowledge his contract.
Oh, Daddy Magic, you're basically a commentator now, but we'll put you in mid, because you're a mid commentator. So, and I think that's mostly all of the Ring of Honor talent that we needed to pick. Oh, we put more. Oh, we got more mid people, so I'll put them at the bottom here for now to kind of save room for us. But yeah. Vincent, you go in mid. He's been entertaining in this little rivalry with Dustin and Sammy, but nothing much to write home about. And Toa Leona, you go in mid with Khan.
Them niggas, yeah.
Yeah, niggas never
go. They be in AEW sometimes, but they always lose.
they be in AEW sometimes, but they just here to lose though. Nigga, you hurt too, Trent Beretta. There.
Oh, right here, a little push going too.
Yeah, I was like, remember when Trent was getting pushed? He joined the Don Callis family and shit. Butch, Butcher, Blade.
Are they about to be gone? Or are they mid?
No, we'll just put them in mid for now. I'm in Tony Nese. Tony Nese in mid for now.
Poor Butcher. Shave your head, Butcher. Stop shaving your head.
Did I move the wrong person? Yeah, I moved Miro. Miro, you get back there. You're not going anywhere. Well, we want you to go somewhere so you can be happy again.
Yeah, do something.
Be happy. Go be happy. Butcher.
Grow your hair, Butcher. I
I think
know
he did.
there's only so much you could do. You did?
Yeah, I think he does.
It's like a Tony Soprano shaved all his head. He would look fucking weird. He needs the fucking things on the side. He just do. Some people need them.
Oh, that's hilarious. Like Tony Soprano. Oh, Serpentico, you're another one. You'll go in. Serpentico, you can go in mid or contract not renewed. I don't know. We'll figure it out. And Scorpio Sky, you're never here.
Okay. I thought that was Hobbs. I ain't gonna hold you.
Oh yeah, Hobbs should be in this. In the niggas always hurt.
Yeah.
Let me see. Where's Hobbs at? Is he up here? Do you see
Powerhouse or Will? There you go. Yeah.
Powerhouse Hobbs. Niggas always hurt. All right. Yep. That's a lot of people in niggas always hurt. God damn. That's such a big portion of the fucking roster. All right. Hologram. He made his debut in the summer during the Arlington tapings for AEW Collision and went on a magical run, really capturing the imaginations of that Arlington crowd. Became a fan favorite, was on an undefeated streak, put on bangers against the Beast Mortos, against Gringo Loco. He was tearing it up in tag team action alongside Orange Cassidy and Mystico and Darby Allin. He was featured at Wrestle Dream in a 2 out of 3 falls matchup that turned out to be very good against the Beast Mortos there. But during that matchup, I believe he suffered an injury and has been out of action since then. Only 2 months out, so we'll keep him up out of the niggas always hurt list. But what about Hologram?
I really enjoyed his presentation. I ain't gonna hold you. He felt different from the rest of the. I guess you call him Luchador. I'll let you decide between deserved better and mid.
Yeah, I'll go with deserved better because he was literally like the only nigga that went on a significant winning streak that didn't get a title shot.
Oh, damn.
So, yeah. Sorry.
This is first gimmick?
In wrestling, no, but in AEW, yes. This has been his debut gimmick.
Fair enough.
Interesting person next. Hook.
Ooh.
Hook came into this year as the FTW champion. He had that stellar 9-minute matchup with Samoa Joe on AEW Dynamite in January. From there, he then got into the feud with Chris Jericho, and he got lost in the Jericho Fortune. In the middle of it, he did tease he had a different kind of shade to his character for a bit with the whole Samoa Joe angle, with Samoa Joe kind of becoming his mentor and stuff, right. And they were doing the buddy cop stuff. They were Pulp Fiction. They were the buddy cop, Pulp Fiction stuff with Shibata behind the camera, filming them beating up the premier athletes and shit. That was fun. But the Jericho feud really weighed down his whole entire year. From there, he had a mini feud with Roderick Strong. He had a decent enough matchup with Roger Strong at Grand Slam. He finally retired the FTW championship, but shortly thereafter, Taz gets attacked, and he gets into this storyline, his current storyline with Christian Cage since then. So not much to write home about. We have heard the first indications that his contract may expire next year, and he may make the move over to WWE, but what about Hook's 2024?
He is he's kind of the definition of deserve better. However, looking at this crew, shit. Hook is more featured than you would think. He's kind of a big deal. Or at least they treat him like half a big deal. I think I'm going to put him in the mid card.
Fair enough. Yeah. They always try to find something for him. Put him right next to him.
Yeah, he's never lost. He's always got something, and it's usually next to Jericho, but still.
Still something. Never got another interesting one. Private Party. They came back into the company earlier in spring. They had a pretty entertaining mini feud on TV with Top Flight. but they were kind of like pushed back into the distance for the most part, especially going into the summer season, the summer builds for Forbidden Door and All In and All Out. Coming out of All Out is when they finally came back into kind of prominence. First, it was in a mini TV feud with the Blackpool Combat Club / Death Riders, where Jon Moxley wanted to find a spark for them, saying they've been around for 5 years in AEW and they're in the same place, breaking a hammer over Isaiah Cassidy's hand, which kind of was a wake-up call for them, because after they lost to the Death Riders over the Trios Championships, they wanted to focus back on the tag team division and started getting wins leading up to their matchup with the Young Bucks at Wrestle Dream. They came up short at Wrestle Dream, but they got a standing ovation for their performance, which led into a rematch at AEW Fright Night Dynamite in one of the best AEW Dynamite TV or AEW TV matches of the year, one of the most memorable moments on AEW Dynamite of the year. Private Party got the win over the Young Bucks, an excellent tag team matchup. Private Party finally becoming AEW World Tag Team Champions. Haven't been prominently featured as champions since then, been more or less off and on sporadic booking since then, but they are still the champions. They make their next defense against Leo Rush and Action Andretti, but whatever you thought about Private Parties 2024.
Usually I would say deserved better if I hadn't seen the tag team title match. That tag team title match was not only really good, but it felt like a moment. We just watched War Raiders win the belts. Spoiler alert. And that was not a moment. It just happened. So
it was like they trying to put the pride roll to make it like, oh, it's a moment. It's a moment, guys. They did the video package earlier in the show. I'm like, dude, why y'all didn't play this like last week? After y'all made the match, y'all should have played the video package so people would come for next week to see the match, see them actually win. Like,
sorry. So yeah, surprisingly good build up to that match. I'm gonna go mid card because they followed it with nonsense. But
yeah, they could have made a push for like top of mid card, low all star if they would have gotten a prominent push after with the tag team title win. But
goddamn shame.
I would above or behind FTR?
Probably behind. I won't be present at the moment. Probably behind FTR. You know, if you actually want excited to see, it'd be fucking Private Party. Not that close.
I already know what you're gonna say here. It's the scapegoat, Jack Perry.
Contract number. Let's move on.
Jack Perry was not here the early portion of the year, but he did make his debut in New Japan Pro Wrestling at Battle in the Valley. Making his debut in the New Japan Cup tournament. He joined up with the House of Torture, made it to the quarterfinals of the New Japan Cup tournament before coming up short there. He then went on to face Shota Umino in a what I thought was a terrific grudge match at Windy City Riot, where he got one of his biggest reactions ever from the pro CM Punk fans in Chicago. Then he returned to All Elite Wrestling at Dynasty, helping the Young Bucks win the AEW World Tag Team Championships against FTR. He had the huge segment on AEW Dynamite where he attacked Tony Khan along with the Young Bucks, laying out Tony Khan with the stretcher job. Then he had this segment with Kenny Omega in Winnipeg where they laid out the former AEW World Champion, leading into Anarchy in the Arena at Double or Nothing, where Jack Perry was set on goddamn fire, but still came out with the victory with the glass jaw knee strike, pinning the greatest of all time, Bryan Danielson. He then went on from there to win the TNT Championship in a 6-way ladder match at Forbidden Door. He defended the title multiple times in open challenges and in title matches on Collision and Dynamite, leading into beating Kazutori Shibata at Wrestle Dream. He also had a title shot at the AEW World title against Bryan Danielson at All Out. He beat Darby Allin in the coffin match at All In as well, finally dropping the TNT Championship to Daniel Garcia at Full Gear. So that has been the portion of Jack Perry's year. Not always has his character connected. His promo work has connected too well. His role in the Elite probably should have been done better from the initial bringing him on. He should have been treated like a renegade, loose cannon, if you will, for lack of a better term, and he wasn't treated like that, and I think that hurt him in the long run. But as far as accomplishment and keep him busy, he did do that in 2024.
He absolutely did. You don't understand how nervous I got when you were running down this list of accomplishments. We were like in July, August. I was like, oh my God, I had to put this cocksucker in an all-star. Then it fell off a cliff. Thank God. Thank God it fell off a fucking cliff.
You were in the push portion. The push portion. They went like 3 months. They was like, we're gonna give him a 3-month push. We'll see where he lands. And then it was like, all right, he's kind of mid-card.
Yeah, that Tony Khan and Kenny Omega show was like, oh my God, it's a fucking all-star. He's had Darby's year. But luckily it fell off because he's not that good. So instead, I'm not mad at the top of the mid card. I know Garcia beat him, but he's probably more important than Garcia was, right? We're doing the whole year.
Yeah, because he was in the Elite storyline. So
yeah, that was a close one.
Jay Lethal. Jay Lethal, the most I can remember for him was the babyface turn that he did, kind of teaming up with Mark Briscoe and Mark Briscoe's rivalry with the House of Black. He's been kind of featured sporadically for the most part, and mostly Jeff Jarrett has gotten the bigger push than him. So we can pair up everybody in Team TNA, or if we want to like separate them, but we could talk about Team TNA. So Jarrett had a more prominent year than even Lethal this year because he got the big push in the Owen Hart Cup, where they talked about his relationship with Owen Hart, and he became kind of this sympathetic veteran star for AEW, which really got the fans behind him for a bit here. He was involved in a rivalry with Hangman Adam Page for a couple of months there. He was kind of viewed as like the elder statesman in the story of Bryan Danielson leading up to All In. So I thought that they did really good work and got the most out of Jeff Jarrett, more than I thought you could have gotten out of him in 2024. Jay Lethal, not so much. I feel like even though we're pairing them up, talking to them together, I don't think they're in the same tier this year.
I agree completely. Jeff to me is in the mid card or deserve better, and then Jay would be whatever is under Jeff. Like they are not the same category.
So Lethal either in deserve better or mid. What do you think?
Hey, I can't justify him in deserve better. Look at this crew. I can't do that. Sorry. You're in mid.
That's fair. Now, one of your favorites, Switchblade Jay White. Jay White started out
the and Bang Bang Gang. I'm sorry. God.
Guns up. He started off the year in the Bang Bang Scissor Gang as 1/3 of the Ring of Honor 6-man tag team champions. But at Dynasty, after the breakup of the Bang Bang Scissor Gang at Big Business, after his great matchup with Darby Allin, they went Splitsville. It was all over for that. They beat them for the AEW World Trios Championships at Dynasty. They were the undisputed AEW Trios champions from there. Had a really strong matchup with the Death Triangle at Double or Nothing. They went into the summertime, and they were involved in all of the trios, getting involved in the multi-trio storyline with the Patriarchy and House of Black, and eventually the Blackpool Combat Club, aka Death Riders, who won the four-way ladder match at All In. But Switchblade Jay White went out with a foot injury after another excellent matchup with Hangman Adam Page. Finally, Hangman picking up a win against him in the Owen Hart Cup, thanks in large part to Christian Cage's involvement in that one. But Switchblade came up short in the Owen Hart Cup. He was out for about 2.5, 3 months, made his return in October, and he has become a revelation as a babyface. They kind of dipped their toes in the water in the early portion with the Bang Bang Scissor Gang, but they kind of went head first after his return and really put him into the deep end as a babyface, and he has excelled. Like his promo ability, his in-ring ability has made the seamless transition over to a babyface. He's had a tremendous rivalry with Hangman Adam Page where these two guys just are not capable of having a bad match. They don't even seem capable of having a good match. They have nothing short of a great match or a tremendous match. It seems every time out, especially on pay-per-view. And now Jay White and Hangman Adam Page find themselves back in the main event scene off the heels of their rivalry, as Switchblade Jay White will be back in the AEW world title scene with a world title matchup coming up at World's End. So he's really bounced back from a tough go at the end of 2023 off the heels of his match with MJF.
Yeah, that was a rough go of it for a few months there. The MJF stuff, then the Bang Bang Scissor Gang. Well, wonder how long this is going to take. Is the heel turn coming? Nope. Boy, I don't want to be president at the moment. Definitely not higher than All-Star. I don't think you can justify that, but higher than a mid-carder, I'm going to say, yeah. I don't think Jay White belongs to the rest of those bums. So I'm going to go All-Star. I mean, no bums, no disrespect. Some of them are great. You know what I mean?
So where is he at? Middle?
He's behind Mercedes, obviously, but he's ahead of Claudio. Is he ahead of Statlander? Yeah, he is. That's good.
Seems about right. Johnny TV, he's been more sporadically used. He's been mostly used on Ring of Honor television, like I said before, with Talia. He was involved in that rivalry against Dalton Castle over there, heading into Supercard of Honor. Came up short in a Fight Without Honor at that show. Then he's been kind of sporadically used on AEW television. He'll have like one-off matches. And then as of late, he's been involved in a storyline with MXM Collection where they've been trying to build his confidence back up. And they've been calling him Jonathan Television, which is just interesting. Anytime I hear it, I just laugh. And I love MXM. So,
that's hilarious.
I think it's fair.
Sounds good. What?
Jonathan Television. Jon Moxley, the reigning AEW World Champion. He started off the year involved in the tag team rivalry I said earlier with Claudio against FTR. Two damn good to great matches at Revolution and on Dynamite. Then from there, Moxley found himself over in New Japan Pro Wrestling, where he went to Windy City Riot and pulled off a miraculous victory, becoming, I believe, the first man ever to win the WWE World Championship, the AEW World Championship, and IWGP World Heavyweight Championships, making history, beating Tetsuya Naito at Windy City Riot. He had victories over Ren Narita and Shota Umino in title defenses. He went on to face Evil at Dominion and beat him for the championship as well, and then defended against Naito at Forbidden Door, coming up short, dropping the title to Naito. Took a couple of months off and then returned to AEW television, where he eventually started off the Death Riders alongside Marina Shafir, Pac, Wheeler Yuta, and Claudio Castagnoli. They turned on Bryan Danielson at All Out, choking him out with his plastic bag. He went on to defeat Darby Allin in a great match at Grand Slam, and then another even better match, a fantastic match in the main event of Wrestle Dream to win the AEW World Championship. He's put on a banger with Orange Cassidy at Full Gear in his first official world title defense on pay-per-view. And the character, he has been the main heel, the top heel in all of AEW since his return in the fall. So where does Moxley land for 2024?
He's had good matches, but so what? He's the best promo in the business.
This is
AEW at the very least. And outside of MJF and maybe Jericho for the first couple of years, I don't think AEW has ever been built around one person except Jon Moxley. Keep at all costs is pretty easy here. I ain't gonna hold you. Moxley is the main character, quite frankly.
He makes the strongest argument for the GOAT of AEW.
Ooh, I think so. Huh?
Yeah. Where does he land, though, out of these four?
When did the Death Rider thing start?
September.
These four are really close together. Because 4 months is a third of the year. Listen, I don't want to be rude. I think Tony's performance is his best performance. but in importance, she's a girl. So it kind of finds the girls. So the question is, how gross does he find it?
He finds it gross.
That's fine for now. I mean, Darby's probably had a better year overall.
Oh my god, this thing is she finds it gross, bro. Right? All right.
His words, not mine. Google.
Juice Robinson, pretty much everything I said about the Bang Bang Gang kind of applies to him. He did make his return because he got injured in November last year. He made his return in May, joining back up with the Bang Bang Gang, instantly becoming entertaining as always with his wild antics and his character and just his mannerisms. He's had fun trios matches alongside the Guns. He was involved in that great ladder match at All In, where they came up short in getting the trios championships. He's been involved in matches against Hangman Adam Page, but he's recently got hurt yet again in the Continental Classic after a very good matchup against Will Ospreay on Collision in his opening match. So unfortunately, he had to drop out at the Continental Classic. He was out for 4 months, so there is an argument for niggas always hurt, but I think he did enough where we can land him somewhere.
Well, he's behind Jay. Triple H and X-Pac don't go in the same group, obviously. So mid card, probably Nick Cameron seems great. Cameron, by the way, has a fantastic render. Like, it just sticks out at all times.
It does.
Her and Deanna in that fucking green.
It looks like a peacock. Next we have Kazuchika Okada, which is another interesting case. He makes his debut in AEW on the March 6th edition of AEW Dynamite, immediately turns heel, joining with the Young Bucks in a new version of the Elite. Before he comes to AEW, he finished out his run in New Japan Pro Wrestling. This motherfucker was Hulk Hogan, and he told motherfuckers, I ain't jobbing to none of you niggas. He put on an Instinct Classic with Bryan Danielson in the Tokyo Dome at Wrestle Kingdom 18 and beats him. He puts on a Dave Meltzer rated 5-star matchup, what I thought was a great match at Battle in the Valley against Will Ospreay. He beat Tanahashi, the president of New Japan Pro Wrestling, on his way out of the door, and didn't put over any of their new talent that needed to be put over at the time. So when it comes to politicking, no. And Okada was only in the company for 3 weeks before he actually won some championship gold. He beats Eddie Kingston for the Continental Championship. He put on a barn burner, arguably one of the best AEW pay-per-view openers of the year against Pac at Dynasty. He was a part of the main program on the show in the spring with the Elite storyline. They had that great stare down with Kenny Omega before the Elite attacked Kenny Omega on the May 1st edition of AEW Dynamite, a part of the awesome Anarchy in the Arena match at Double or Nothing. And then after Double or Nothing, they kind of laxed off on their use of Kazuchika Okada. He was kind of used as an outlier in the Team AEW versus Elite storyline. He was involved in the Blood and Guts matchup, where we just popped at how many times he avoided taking any types of bumps or any types of hard shots. His interactions with Hangman Adam Page were a lot of fun in that matchup as well. He was involved in probably the most fun I've had watching one matchup live is the Casino Gauntlet at All In. And he was a big part of that matchup at that show at All In London. And then he got involved in a mini storyline with Takeshita ahead of Wrestle Dream, where he's involved in ahead of All Out, where he's involved in the 4-way matchup with Takeshita, Mark Briscoe, and Orange Cassidy, which was a whole lot of fun there as well. And now he's been part of the Continental Classic, trying to prove he's the greatest tournament wrestler ever. He put over a young talent, which I know all the young talent in New Japan, like, oh, now you can do it, nigga? He puts over Kyle Fletcher in his first loss in the Continental Classic. Kind of put over Daniel Garcia as well, going to a time limit draw with Garcia in the early portion of the tournament. And now he's going to finish off the tournament against Shelton Benjamin after a very good matchup against Beast Mortos. What do you think? Okada's been champion most of the year, but his presentation has not always been the best.
Yeah. Ironically, he feels like he should be a bigger deal than he is, which is ironic considering the resume you just scrolled off. We've got a couple of misses here with the Keshta feud that never happened, and the Hangman match that never happened. I would say he maintained an all-star spot, though. I can't put him and Jack Perry on the same level. That's silly. So yeah,
We're in all-star.
Probably closer to the top. Maybe ahead of Jay.
So with his boo, Mercedes.
Yeah, dance for me, black lady. Then they dance for her. She dances for him. Touch her hair. What are we doing? I'm sorry. That's wild. Do your dance.
Katsuyori Shibata. He was mostly used in sporadic spots. He had a great match with Bryan Danielson on Collision earlier in the year. He was involved in the Hook and Learning Tree storyline, unfortunately, where he was the cameraman for the buddy cop film of Samoa Joe and Hook. He was involved in that awful triple threat with Hook and Jericho at Double or Nothing, though, so that's a mark against him. He had a not so great matchup against Jack Perry. I believe that one was at Wrestle Dream, but he's not been like the most prominently used, unfortunately.
Yeah, that sounds like a deserved better or mid card is the question.
I think he deserves better because he should be treated as like a legend with reverence, but he's just not.
Okay, I'm not against that.
Bottom of deserve better, but still deserves better. Comanda. He's another one that's kind of used in sporadic pot. What?
Released. Contract not renewed. Whatever. Nigga, please get hurt.
Hey, he has great matches. He's had great matches with Kyle Fletcher, with recently with Ricochet, as well as Darby Allin in the Continental Classic. He was the first alternate in the Continental Classic, coming on late. But yeah, he hasn't been used in any prominent storylines throughout
the year. Deserve better or mid? Yeah, mid looks good. He fits.
Put him in the top row at least. Konosuke Takeshita.
Oh man.
Oh dear. Started off the year with the banger, like we mentioned earlier, with Darby Allin on Dynamite. He got a win over Chris Jericho on Dynamite. That led into one of the very best matches of the year against Will Ospreay at Revolution. That brainbuster where he just drags Ospreay's back down the turnbuckles. I still remember that whole bruise that Ospreay had on his back afterwards. I was like, oh my God, seeing that live, I still remember cringing seeing that. He tore it up, turned the roof off of in Greensboro, North Carolina at that show. Takeshita was then featured again in the lead up to Double or Nothing. He challenged for he was in the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship Eliminator matchup against Jon Moxley. Had a good match there at Double or Nothing. But his whole year turns around in the summer, because Tony Khan decides to give the reins to Takeshita to Gato and New Japan Pro Wrestling, and this man becomes a revelation in the world of wrestling in the G1 Climax, stealing the show over there, putting on instant classics against Hiroki Goto, against Yota Tsuji, against David Finlay. It did not matter who it was against. Pretty much everyone in his block had their best match against Takeshita, including one of the best matches of the year against El Phantasmo in Kurgan Hall with one of the craziest table spots you will ever see in your life. Takeshita tore it up, became an absolute even bigger star in the G1, and he actually came back, and for once, AEW was like, you did good in that other company, we're going to treat you better now. They treated him better. He had the little mini tease of a feud with Okada, but then he gets involved in the whole Ospreay Ricochet rivalry over the International Championship. He interjects himself, leading to a triple threat matchup, one of the greatest three-way matches in wrestling history at
Jesus Christ,
with Takeshita getting the win to become the international champion. and now he's been tearing it up. He had another instant classic with Speedball Mike Bailey and Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling, a great match against Josh Alexander in Maple Leaf as well in his first defense of the International Championship. He's been had a good matchup, very good matchup against Ricochet at Full Gear, and now he's going to be defending against Powerhouse Hobbs at AEW World's End on December 28th. What do you think about Takeshita's 2024?
Finally, some respect in this bitch. I appreciate it. Not what he deserves, but fucking close enough. That's an all-star year. That's an all-star year.
Top?
I can't put him at a Marame. I just can't do that. Yeah, there you go. That was good.
Or are Mercedes ahead of him?
Behind Mercedes. Mercedes' placement is still egregious.
I was going to argue even now it's like a main event level year.
Come on now. Why? Because you added extra star to all his matches? That's not how this works.
I don't add an extra star to all of
this. One of the best three-way matches ever. Sir, what are we doing?
It is.
You lost that fucking mind.
It is. It is. Joe Styles, Daniels, Michaels, Benoit, Triple H.
It's not in that group,
Ospreay, Ricochet.
Three best triple threats. I know you love Ospreay.
Rollins, Brock, Cena. If you want to Mount
Rushmore. I love that match. That's a great match. But come on now. It's not.
If you want a top 5, Rock, Angle, Taker.
Another great match. It might be in that group. It's in that group with that match. 4.5. It's a good match. It's a really good match. Great match. Good Lord. Oh, Lord. What the fuck are we doing? All right. Keep it together.
Next, we have arguably AEW's breakout star of the year, Kyle Fletcher. Kyle Fletcher started off the year as the young upstart who had pretty much had a jobber to the stars type role, losing to like other top talent like your Bryan Danielsons, your Kenny Omegas. Will Ospreay comes into this company immediately. His first match on Dynamite is against Kyle Fletcher. They tear it up. Dave Meltzer rates the match 5 stars. I gave it 4 3/4 stars. One of the best TV matches. One of the best TV matches of the year to me, for sure. Fletcher really made a statement there. He would have other strong showings against Kazuchika Okada for the Continental Championship, against MJF for the American Championship. He would come up short in those matches as well, but it wasn't until the spring when he teamed up with Will Ospreay. They won the Casino Gauntlet, the first ever tag team version of it, and then him and Ospreay tore it up against the Young Bucks at Grand Slam in one of the best tag team matches of 2024. Came up short because Ospreay stopped him from using the Don Callis family screwdriver, and that led to Kyle Fletcher using that same screwdriver on Will, costing him the International Championship at Wrestle Dream, and that led into their big showdown, their grudge match at Full Gear. A spectacular matchup with Kyle Fletcher having a star-making performance, beating Will Ospreay in the middle of the ring in his biggest win ever. And since then, he has been full speed ahead in the Continental Classic, picking up wins against Beast Mortos, stealing a win against Shelton Benjamin, though arguably another one of his biggest wins of his career, right next to the Ospreay one against Kazuchika Okada on Collision, going up 3-0 in the Continental Classic, and then arguably had the best match of the Continental Classic so far against Mark Briscoe on the December 14th edition of AEW Collision in his first loss of the tournament. Kyle Fletcher, he seems to be getting closer and closer to meeting the potential that has been set out for him at a faster speed than I thought he would get there. So I am impressed, especially with his second half of the year. He's really come on strong.
Well, not an all-star in actuality. He has had an all-star year. I can't deny that, even though I would fucking like to. Let me see. Probably right behind Okada if I'm forced to make a pick, sadly.
I don't know. I would probably put Stat. I think Stat and Switch whole year were more consistent than Fletcher. I feel Fletcher had a stronger second half of the year than those two, but the overall year was stronger for those two.
Get no argument from me. And the opposite was Ospreay. Whatever fucking Fletcher wants, I do the opposite.
Another one of your favorites, another Kyle. Kyle O'Reilly is here. He returned to the company in March, reappearing at Revolution. He went into a short-term rivalry with Roderick Strong and the Undisputed Kingdom. They tore it up in a really damn good technical wrestling clinic at Dynasty, with Roderick coming up strong there with the win to defend the international championship. From there, Kyle O'Reilly found himself. He was a part of the first ever Casino Gauntlet, which he had a strong showing there. Had a nice little interaction with Will Ospreay, which led to a great match on AEW Collision for the international championship between those two. He joined up with a conglomeration with Mark Briscoe and Orange Cassidy, bringing some of the mid-card baby faces together in a group. They feuded with the likes of the Undisputed Kingdom, as well as the Learning Tree. He was in a good Ring of Honor World Tag Team title matchup with Tomohiro Ishii versus Undisputed Kingdom at ROH Death Before Dishonor. And I really feel like it was pretty much a mid card type year until he kind of had the bad portion of his year over the last couple of weeks when he got back involved in this storyline with Adam Cole and MJF, which pretty much everything they touch goes to dirt. So
Jesus,
I'm not gonna penalize him for that. Kyle O'Reilly.
I know I didn't mention this about Kyle Fletcher, but Kyle O'Reilly, also ratings poison, driving off people at a remarkable rate. That should be in marking as Fletcher now. Think about it. That's too late. We passed him. Kyle O'Reilly, you're gonna be in the fuck. He's prominently featured. He's mid card. He could be Juice, Harley. Yeah. Deserve better. I don't think so. Deserves less, but somewhere in there.
That's fair. Lance Archer. I mean, he's never really prominent feature. He comes, he wins a match, he'll squash somebody, kill some dudes, then he loses to a star. He comes back, he squashes some dudes, loses to a star. They have found a role for him in a tag team with Brian Cage as part of the Don Callis family to end off 2024. But for the most part, he's kind of just been there.
Yeah.
And then he's not there. Wait,
yeah.
Mid?
I think under Cage, because Cage is deserve better. He could be mid.
That's fair. We'll put him on the second tier of mid, right behind the former champion Jobbers to the Stars of the women's division. Lee Moriarty, the big accomplishment for him, he won the Ring of Honor Pure Championship, dethroning three-time champion Wheeler Yuta at ROH Death Before Dishonor. He's had a good run over there, and he's really led the way to Shane Taylor Promotions getting back to prominence and focus over on the Ring of Honor brand. Him winning gold has led to motivation for Shane to go after championship gold and recruit the infantry into the group as well. So pretty good stuff on Ring of Honor TV, not so much featured on AEW. What do you think he lands?
That's up to you between deserves better and mid.
Yeah, I was thinking deserves better, right with the other ROH champions.
So get that key bump.
Malachi Black. Echoing most of what we said before for the House of Black members, Brody King and Buddy Matthews, except probably even less. But I will say Malachi Black this year had his best rivalry of his AEW run in the rivalry with Adam Copeland. I thought they did really strong promo work, and like the psychology of the feud was really well done. The bloodbath is memorable. Gangrel getting involved was memorable. The barbed wire steel cage match, despite Copeland injuring himself, was still a great matchup. I thought they really delivered there. He had a strong match with Adam Cole where he teased like he was leaving. He was involved in the Trios rivalry in the summer with Patriarchy and Bang Bang Gang. So he's had some roles. He had some memorable rivalries. He's been pretty featured. He hasn't just been prominently featured or featured where his talent is at.
Yeah, he's probably, while he deserves better, I think it's a mid card. Probably underneath Brody though. Brody's got a strong back half of the year.
Yeah, I agree. Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe spent the majority of 2024 as the Ring of Honor world champion. Early part of the year, he was involved in a rivalry with the House of Black, getting involved with them after their rivalry with FTR and Daniel Garcia, helping them out win the steel cage matchup, led to his rivalry with House of Black, led to a trios matchup, him teaming with Eddie Kingston and Adam Copeland at Dynasty, coming up short there in a really good matchup. Before that, Briscoe defeated Eddie Kingston at Supercard of Honor to finally become Ring of Honor World Champion in one of the more emotional title wins of the year. The whole Briscoe family celebrating in the middle of the ring. He was prominently featured on Ring of Honor despite really kind of splitting his time. He would show up on AEW, show up on Ring of Honor all the time. They never would not let him be featured on AEW despite being Ring of Honor's top champion. They're like, you're too entertaining. Your promos are too good. This was the year where he became redneck football coach, Mark Briscoe, with those pump-up speeches for the conglomeration throughout the year. He was always entertaining in his role. And he had one of the biggest accomplishments of anyone that we're going to discuss on this list. He had a good pay-per-view matchup with Chris Jericho. That alone should get him higher up on the list than he was before, but he's also been tearing it up in the Continental Classic. Like I said before, arguably the best match of the tournament so far with Kyle Fletcher. What do you think about Briscoe?
It sounds like you're pushing for All-Star here. I'm not sure that's justifiable. You'll put him ahead of Jack Perry or Garcia? Oh, maybe actually.
I was like, you're not really arguing against it. Like, I'm just like,
yeah. You know what? Sadly, him's not much difference between him and Claudio. Yeah, Mark can go up in All-Star at the bottom though. Let's be clear.
Yeah,
that'd be rude.
I'll just put him ahead of Bobby Lashley is our marker for the end of All-Star because he just got here. Mark Davis, nigga, you've been hurt.
Yeah.
Just go in there. Matt Sydal, I don't even know. Are you still in this roster? Matt Taven, Undisputed Kingdom. They were Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions the early part of the year, but
come on now. Yeah.
Mid.
There you go. Almost destroyed the company. Company's on life support because of you. Because of what you did. You and that.
That's what you did. That's what you did. I ain't do nothing to you. That's what you did. Where is his brother? Oh yeah, there you go. Matthew and Nicholas Jackson. They return at the first Dynamite of 2024 as their new EVP characters, interrupting Sting and Darby Allin in the main event of the show. You have them come out and they introduce these EVP characters. They're trying to take control, take over, and reshape, change the world of AEW. Then they had the great build up to the Sting retirement matchup where they put on one of their greatest performances of their all-time career against Sting and Darby Allin in Greensboro, North Carolina, coming up short there in a great matchup. Then they had another awesome ladder match against FTR at Dynasty where they won the tag team titles thanks to Jack Perry. They had the takeover storyline, the segment with Tony Khan taking him out with the TK driver, taking out Kenny Omega in Winnipeg. They won the Anarchy in the arena at Double or Nothing. Then the storyline drops off a bit when Tony Khan avatar Christopher Daniels comes into play. They start feuding with the Acclaim at the same time, so it's the double whammy of trying to kill that storyline. They win at Forbidden Door with Okada against Tanahashi and the Acclaim. They beat Acclaim and FTR in a three-way matchup at All In. They beat the Blackpool Combat Club, Wheeler Yuta and Claudio Castagnoli at All Out. At Wrestle Dream, they had a great matchup with Private Party, where Private Party came up just short, but that leads into their rematch at AEW Fright Night Dynamite. Fantastic, great moment on Dynamite for Private Party where they win the titles, and the Bucks just shred some documents, and they get the fuck out of town because they're not dealing with the Death Riders, which was probably some of their best character work of the year with their reaction to what the Death Riders were doing. So, Matthew and Nicholas, 2024.
Ironically, there's a lot of Okada here. I feel like missed opportunities up and down the board. However, there's enough good stuff and enough prominence where there got to be all stars. Where though? Probably. Don't want to put them.
So Okada,
I was going to say ahead of Okada.
I can see that.
Yes, but Nicholas ahead of Matt. Performance counts.
Yeah, of course. I would say like the Young Bucks, their weakest area of the year was the summer. Like after Double or Nothing, when the storyline fell apart, so did their title run, where they stopped defending it so often.
Yeah.
But the back half of their title reign had the two matches with Private Party, the Ospreay Fletcher tag team matchup at Grand Slam. Those 3 matches alone saved their title reign.
Agreed. It's a pretty good year for them, all things considered.
Yeah. Then
tag
we
team
have
of the year,
Max.
probably.
AEW Tag Team of the Year, yeah, definitely. Out of the people on this list, definitely. Max Caster. Speaking of which, the Acclaim. Everything got said about Anthony Bowens, except worse.
Where's Bowens at? Mid?
Was he in Deserve better? He's Deserve better.
Okay, we'll put Caster in the same group. I feel like the last month. I'm sorry, I just love Max Caster. I ain't gonna hold you. Whatever this is now.
When he's finally fulfilled himself as the delusional heel, yes, it's gotten better.
Yes, best wrestler alive. It makes sense.
This is the interesting one here. MJF.
This is. And you remember last year I was arguing MJF's the only one that's keep it all costs.
MJF, he comes back in May at Double or Nothing. He attacks Adam Cole, cuts that great return promo. Then he gets into a rivalry with Roosh on TV. They had a series of heated brawls with one another. Eventually, MJF wins the matchup against Roosh. He has a matchup against Hechicero at Forbidden Door in Long Island.
Wait. Go slower. Roosh? Hechicero. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Hechicero, he picks up the win there. But on the way to Forbidden Door, that is the first time they tease that it will be feuding with Will Ospreay. They had that stare down on Dynamite. They got the big reaction. Then they were kind of teasing that they were kind of going to keep away from each other until MJF turns on Daniel Garcia on Beach Break Dynamite.
Daniel Garcia.
He lays out Daniel Garcia on Beach Break Dynamite, laying him out, stretching him out of the building. Great heel turn. He starts his feud with Will Ospreay. That leads into the absolutely terrific 59-minute instant classic on Dynamite 250 against Ospreay. When he wins the international championship and reshapes it into the American championship. He had some weak. He had some weak promos with trying to promote America in the deep South and shit, which didn't work. But they did move past that, and then he really had a strong title run. He was going to different promotions, went to CMLL and defended the title, went to Rev Pro and defended the title, had the great angle at Rev Pro where he attacked Michael Oku's girlfriend, and Will Ospreay came out, made the save, and then that led into All In, where they had a tremendous bout on that card. One of the best matches on the entire show, where Ospreay wins the international championship. Daniel Garcia comes back. They have their match at All Out, which was another great matchup with MJF pulling out the win, but he gets dropped on his head with a power driver off the top rope. He's out for a number of months. He comes back at Wrestle Dream, attacks Daniel Garcia, but then Adam Cole comes back, chases him off, and he's been off of television for the most part since then. He came back for Full Gear, had a good match against Roger Strong, picking up the win there, and now he'll be back for World's End, where he will face Adam Cole once and for all for the Dynamite Diamond Ring. Fingers crossed. MJF's 2024.
I had already decided he's not keeping all costs, fucking obviously, this year. Obviously. So I figured main event. Well, then you went Roosh, Hechicero, Daniel Garcia, USA versus UK. I forgot all about that. USA versus UK. Garcia again, Adam Cole, and Roddy Strong. This is not a main event year. I'm sorry. It just ain't. It just is not. I'm sorry. All-star. If I'm being nice, I can't justify main event year of this. This is heinous.
Where is he at on All Star?
Jeez. You know what? I'd be putting him at the top because he's got like Mariah May syndrome going on. Where
I was gonna say bottom of main event.
You can't put him with Hangman. You can't put with the year Hangman had. You can't put with Christian year. Then you repeat it. Then you repeat it. You said it to me. They want to repeat it back to you. Rush Hachicero Garcia versus the United Kingdom. Adam Cole and Roderick Strong. Come on, man. We can't do that. We can't do that. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, my hero. My favorite wrestler in AEW by a mile. What the fuck is going on?
All right. We got MVP. Should we just pair him with Bobby?
Sure.
Let's put the Hurt Syndicate all together. They've had an all-star start to their AEW run.
They have.
I'll put Shelton. I'll put Shelton in the middle. He might have had. I might put him above Bobby.
Wow. We're not going to count his. Well, that's about the year. Yeah, sure. They've been treated as equals, ironically.
Yeah. I'll put him above Bobby. Nick Wayne has not been used much. He did become the youngest ever AEW champion when he won the World Trios titles with Killswitch and Christian Cage over the summer. But for the most part, he hasn't even gotten the reps. They very lately have been using him on Ring of Honor TV, which I think is a smart move and needs to be done more often. But he hasn't really been used all that much. He was used in the Adam Copeland feud in the early portion of the year, used in the trios portion of stuff. He's been used lately. I think he's going to verse Hook in Hammerstein Ballroom, but not anything that you could really sink your teeth into.
Yeah, similar to Jade vibes. I know it's kind of a weird take, but like come in, big push, and it's like, oh, maybe we overdid it. Let's kind of reel this back in a little bit.
I think he's like a deserved better.
Yeah.
He's talented. Yeah. He deserves. He should get. He should get more than what he's got.
You all fucking jumped on the bandwagon. Then the bandwagon crashed. You guys are shocked. What'd you get?
Paul White, you're never here. Penta, your contract already wasn't renewed. Phoenix, you want your contract to be unrenewed. Where does Ricky Starks go? Is he not here, or is he contract
not renewed? He's gonna be on the sideline until that thing expires. Poor bastard. Chris Jericho was in fucking GCW. Wasn't that a fucking coincidence? Ain't this a bitch? Ain't this a bitch?
Preston Vance, you were injured for a large portion of this year. I'm trying to see if there's anyone. Who are you? Sean Dean? Where's your partner? Where's your partner? You're not supposed to be here without your partner. Let's put you in.
Who's his partner?
Carly Bravo. They're the infantry. But
right.
Next we got Orange Cassidy. He came into the year as the AEW International Champion. He had the rivalry with Roderick Strong leading into Revolution, where Roderick Strong won the International Championship. Then Orange basically got turned on by Trent Beretta, which led to a rivalry, a bitter grudge rivalry between those two. Led into a matchup at Double or Nothing, which at every turn in this rivalry with Trent Beretta, Orange won. He beat his ass and should have just moved on. But Don Callis was trying to recruit Orange Cassidy into the family. Eventually, he because Trent beat up Orange, he was like, you know what? Orange didn't want to join. You could join. I don't care. You're a second choice.
Crazy.
Then Orange Cassidy joined up with the conglomeration. Mark Briscoe, Kyle O'Reilly, Tomohiro Ishii was a part of all these fun house party trios matchups on TV. He was a part of the Casino Gauntlet on 2 occasions. The great one had a Forbidden Door, as well as the awesome, so much fun time at All in London. He was a part of the 4-way at All Out for the Continental Championship against Okada, Takeshita, and Briscoe. And then he found himself becoming a leader for AEW off the heels of Wrestle Dream and the attack on Bryan Danielson. He was right at the forefront and had to become a leader for the company and stepped up to the plate as someone who had beaten most of the members of the Death Riders. He went on to have an excellent matchup against Jon Moxley at Full Gear for the AEW World Championship, where Moxley needed the help of Wheeler Yuta to get the win over Orange Cassidy. He made his return after a post-match attack with chemicals to come back at the Death Riders. And now the Death Riders are hell-bent on taking him out of his misery once and for all, for better or worse, if he keeps getting in their way. So Orange is in the main event scene and isn't going anywhere, it seems, for now. But what have you thought about his 2024?
I didn't realize at the beginning of his 2024 was so unimpressive, I guess is a good word. Lately, he's been main event, but that first half of the year, I can't just ignore that. All-Star, probably.
Seems about right. Next to Mark?
Yeah, that looks good. Ahead of Mark, though, yeah.
Seems about right. Yeah, I would say everybody above him either has got a more consistent or stronger push throughout the year.
Agreed.
Next we have Pac the Bastard. Pac made his return following Revolution. He got immediately into a rivalry with Kazuchika Okada. They had the excellent opener to AEW Dynasty. He came up short there. But Pac was actually used more often than not in 2024, which was interesting to see. He had a really good matchup with Claudio in the Owen Hart Cup on TV. Then he went into an excellent matchup with Bryan Danielson at Beach Break, coming up short in the Continental Classic, but he did not let that stop him from trying to get championship gold and set his sight on the international championship. He became the number one contender ahead of Allin for the title, and because of the drama between MJF and Ospreay, he chose to get his title shot at All Out, which led to an absolutely sensational bout with Will Ospreay for the international championship at the event, with Pac coming up short. But Pac won the AEW World Trios Championships at All In alongside Claudio and Wheeler, which led to his next most prominent role in AEW as a member of the Death Riders. And he is the most hilarious member of the Death Riders because everyone else wears clothes except for him. But Pac has been a part of the top program in the company. What have you thought about his 2024?
You know what? It's better than I thought it was. I know he's big in the latter half, but the beginning wasn't that weak either. All-Star looks right.
Yeah. Where we put him?
I mean, Claudio's right there. Yeah, yeah.
Just behind Claudio?
Yeah. Claudio's back half stronger.
Roderick Strong, he started off the year in the awful Undisputed Kingdom storyline, so we're not going to hold anything against them for that. But he set his sights on the International Championship, eventually beating Orange Cassidy for the title. But his reign did not last long. After beating Kyle O'Reilly in a technical wrestling clinic at Dynasty, he dropped the title in another tremendous matchup against Will Ospreay at Double or Nothing. From there, he kind of found himself kind of up and down the card, kind of finding different roles anytime. He had an AEW World Title shot at Swerve Strickland after not getting involved in the Casino Gauntlet. He was involved in different type of tag team matches. He had an ROH World Title matchup against Mark Briscoe at Death Before Dishonor. He was involved in many different like triple threat matches on TV, a bunch of great singles matches on TV throughout the year. So Roddy had a very strong year as far as being featured, not really kind of prominently featured in the main event scene, but definitely featured a lot.
Yeah, pretty strong year. Roddy's always fun to watch in the ring, and he's found some character stuff last couple of years in AEW. I'm gonna say towards the top of the mid card. At the top? You know. That was good.
FTR?
Wait, he's on Dynamite though, so he's got to go ahead Thunder Rosa. Sorry, them be the rules.
That's fair. All right, well, we'll pair them up together since he's right here. Prince Nana and Swerve Strickland. So this is really about mostly Swerve Strickland's year. It's just Prince Nana basically enhances Swerve, but Swerve has had one of the best years of anyone on the AEW roster. He came into the year focused, his sights set on the AEW World Championship. He had that great match with Hangman Adam Page to try to become the number one contender, where they went to a 30-minute time limit draw. They did a double turn where Swerve officially became the babyface, Hangman became the heel. They were in the triple threat at Revolution, which was another kind of tremendous matchup there where Swerve came up just short with Joe picking up the win. But they didn't let Hangman being out of the feud allow them to slow down speed. I thought the work that Joe and Swerve did building up to Dynasty was amazing stuff. Like the segments they would have, the energy, the vibes, the contract signing where he busts open Swerve and Swerve signs the contract with his blood, the stomp onto the security with the whole security breaking away on the go home show, and then finally Swerve picking up the win over Joe in a great match in the main event of Dynasty, winning the AEW World Championship. Swerve did not have the strongest start of his reign, having just a regular matchup on his first episode of Dynamite after the debut, but he opened up the show on Collision with the NBA lead-in, had a great match against Claudio Castagnoli on the show. Followed up that match with another very good title match against Roderick Strong on Dynamite. Picked up another great win over Christian Cage at Double or Nothing. Got involved in the Elite storyline, heading into Forbidden Door and Blood and Guts. He had a great performance in Blood and Guts with his interactions with Hangman Adam Page, reigniting that storyline. The outstanding build to him and Will Ospreay at Forbidden Door, and the absolutely fantastic match that they had in the main event of that show, all in London, and him totally switching roles to the antagonist in his rivalry with Ospreay and Bryan goading him into putting his career on the line, talking trash about his family, leading into his all-time heel great performance. One of my probably like top 5 favorite heel performances in a match is Swerve at All In London against Bryan Danielson. Him coming up to Birdie and kicking her father in the face while making her cry. Just it's beautiful. I'm a heel lover, and I loved Swerve's performance in that matchup. He loses the AEW World Championship there, concludes one of the best rivalries of the year against Hangman, the burning of the house, as well as the lights out steel cage matchup at All Out. Takes a month off, gets into this program with the Hurt Business, where he's had good match with Shelton Benjamin, as well as another good match against Bobby Lashley. Really put the Hurt Syndicate on a prominent level in AEW. What a year for Swerve Strickland.
Fantastic year. Had my match of the year. Had one of my favorite matches ever. Him and Dragon at All In. Opening half of the year wasn't strong, and I'll never forget the opening to his title reign. The first month in particular is fucking heinous. Oh, wait a minute, I almost forgot. Had a chick when she was black and ugly. I'll remind everybody, whenever I get the motherfucking chance, I will not let you niggas tap dance around this coon ever. Ever, ever, ever. It's egregious. You ought to be ashamed. You haven't done more about it. That's neither here nor there. Why is it Kato? I know we're not gonna do that. That said, the man is talented and he's had a great year. I can't deny that. The only question is it that much better than Hangman's year? I don't think so. That's Swerve.
AEW World Champion?
Yeah. Swerve and Ospreay feud I did like a lot. You know what? Yeah, we'll give him a top tier year. Keep it all cost.
I agree. Nana, you want to peep under him? He's a main event level manager.
If you say so.
We could put him at all-star level manager with MVP.
Yeah, he'd be next to MVP. Yeah.
Ricochet. We have Ricochet who signed with AEW. Signed with AEW in August, debuting at All In the Awesome Casino Gauntlet. He put on some pretty entertaining matches on TV, whether against Kyle Fletcher, Sammy Guevara, Beast Mortos. He got called out by Will Ospreay, stepped up to Will Ospreay. They had an awesome kind of showcase of their abilities in their first matchup on the anniversary show in October, which Konosuke Takeshita interrupted. That led into the amazing triple threat matchup at Wrestle Dream, where Takeshita won the international championship, but Ricochet kept his sights on the international title, leading into a very good matchup at Full Gear with Ricochet coming up short to Takeshita. And now in the Continental Classic, we've been seeing Ricochet tease turning heel after receiving the business card from the Hurt Syndicate. He's been showing more heel tendencies, and we may about to see him finally turn heel for the first time in like a decade. So, what have you thought about Ricochet's opening first 4 months in AEW?
Jesus, where do I want to put him? I'm not feeling all-star at all, even a little bit.
I think mid-card.
Yeah, sure. Where though? He hasn't had Jack Perry's year or Garcia's. Roddy Strong's pretty good. Oh,
I was gonna say.
You put wherever you go. Listen,
I was gonna say
further you go right, the less of an argument you'll get from me. Feel free.
Roosh wasn't really featured all that often. He was like featured like sporadically. He had the rivalry, the TV rivalry with MJF. He would get like wins on TV to set up like matches against stars, and then he re-established LFI at the end of the year with Beast Mortos and Dralistico, but not really anything kind of sink his teeth into as far as rivalries outside of MJF.
Yeah, Deserve Better looks pretty good for Roosh.
Yeah, that's about right there. Sammy Guevara made his return this past summer after being suspended in the early portion of the year following his match with Jeff Hardy. Makes his return in Ring of Honor. He unites with Dustin Rhodes as the Sons of Texas. They win the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships in their first matchup together. I think it's like second matchup together. And win those titles. They've been champions ever since then. They're currently in a rivalry with the Righteous. They're going to face each other at Final Battle in a double Texas bull rope matchup.
Oh, good Lord.
But Guevara has found himself a role back on AEW television, and it seems a role better suited to where he's at right now after a lot of start and stop pushes.
A role. That's a nice way to put it. Motherfuckers realize he's a role player, not a star. That's a good way to put it. You're not a fucking pillar. You are. That'd be nice. Mid. Towards the top. Is Dustin in mid? Yeah. Yep. Next to Dustin.
Yep. Right next to Dustin. Samoa Joe. Kicked off the year AEW World Champion. Really just exuded just what a world champion should be. A lot of what we say about Jon Moxley, where he has a world title and it just fits, a lot of that worked with Joe as well in the early portion. He had that great matchup with Hook on TV, the awesome triple threat matchup at Revolution, the great build to the matchup with Swerve at Dynasty, and the match itself. He took a few months off, came back. He kind of joined forces with Hook with the friendly little buddy cop stuff they were doing during the Learning Tree storyline. Had his match with Jericho where Jericho throws him through a wall, and he's been out of action since filming Twisted Metal. So he's been out for pretty much 5 months. I think there's a good portion of the year where we can give him a grade, but we can also put him in niggas not here.
If you force me to give him a grade, he was main event for a good part, but he fell off pretty hard towards the end. So it'd probably be an all-star if you make me give him a grade.
I was thinking that too. Where would he be, though?
I would put him at the top, and I would might have to move MJF up. I don't want to. She might have to. I know part of this is my fucking OCD, and I don't like the fact that there's 5 in the top one and then 3 in the second one.
Yes, same with me. That's what I was like, MJF should be here. We'll keep him at the bottom, so he's penalizing. He went from top of keep at all costs to the bottom of main event. So that's a big drop off for him.
That's a big drop. That'll do.
Next up, we have Sanjay Dutt. Where's the rest of TTNA? So Lethal in mid. We'll keep you in mid. Just keep you in mid. Sting! He was only here for 3 months, but still.
Yeah. This is weird.
Still. But 3 months.
I love that. You was worried about Joe. This nigga was here for 8 months.
But still, that 3 months, though, that's an all-star.
Yeah, it was. It was a great run.
We just keep staying here. Let's keep him in All Star. Just keep. We won't put him at the top. We'll put him behind the current women's champions, but he deserves his All Star spot. Stokely Hathaway. I mean, so Stokely Hathaway, always entertaining. He's part of that trios group with Willow and Statlander. He was the catalyst for Statlander turning heel on Willow. Played a prominent role in that rivalry with some great promo work. Then he had a great role, a strong role in the All Out matchup, the Chicago Street Fight. But since then, we had the off-camera split between him and Statlander, and he hasn't found a new role for himself. Even though they were teasing he was going to find a tag team, and he had a somewhat of a role in the storyline leading up to Private Party winning the titles. But maybe he becomes the manager for Lio Rush in Action and Andretti.
Boy, that will put his powers to the fucking test. Oh, good Lord. You got to have charisma for 3 people? I'm sorry. Leo's got some charisma, but you get the point. I'm going to put him... Wait, when does that breakup happen with Willow and...
in September.
All right, that's enough. He can be in the MVP Prince Nana category. I might put him ahead of them. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I was going to say that. I was like, if it wasn't for me keeping Hurt Syndicate together, I would put him ahead, but I'll put him right there. The Beast, Mortos. This guy just always stands out whenever he's around. He just has this intense, hostile. He's been featured on Ring of Honor television as well as AEW television. He's torn it up in Ring of Honor with like Commander. Had a great match against him at ROH Death Before Dishonor. Tore it up in in the Hologram's second ever matchup in the company, and he's been more prominently featured in the second half of the year. He joined up with LFI with Roosh and Delisico. He had that short mini rivalry with Hologram as well. He's in the Continental Classic, where he's already had very good matches against Okada and Kyle Fletcher. He's got Shelton Benjamin coming up at the Holiday Bash. Beast Mortos.
Is that on Dynamite or is that on Collision?
That's going to be on Dynamite.
I mean, it's gonna be a good match, but I give me mid card.
Yeah, strong mid card year. Where does he belong?
Behind Brody. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Okay. Wardlow, nigga, you always hurt.
Poor bastard.
And then we close off with two sides of the spectrum. First, you got Wheeler Yuta. 1/3 of the AEW World Trios champions. He started off the year as the Ring of Honor Pure Champion. He was out of action for a large portion of the year. He came back and he pretty quickly lost the Pure Championship to Lee Moriarty at ROH Death Before Dishonor. Then found himself in the back with the Blackpool Combat Club, winning the AEW World Trios Championships at All In London. Came up short against the Young Bucks for the AEW World Tag Team Championships with Claudio at All Out. Then we get the big heel turn where he was kind of stuck in the middle of the Bryan Danielson, Jon Moxley war, heading into Wrestle Dream, being forced to watch Bryan being suffocated. But then when Bryan goes down at Wrestle Dream, he makes the choice to bet on the winning horse instead of going with the losing retiree, the losing horse that they're about to put out the pasture. So he joins up with the Death Riders, chokes out Bryan with the plastic bag, and now he's kind of just been a pawn in the whole Death Rider storyline. But they've really done a good job of making him have a connection with the fans. We saw that a couple of weeks ago when Jay White versus Pac with Wheeler Yuta at ringside. Wheeler Yuta is getting the chance being like, fuck you, Yuta, because they feel like he betrayed Bryan Danielson. So I think they've done a great job of using the Blackpool Combat Club breakup to get some heat on Yuta with him turning heel and choosing Moxley over Bryan.
I would say that's very true. At least he's got something to do, even if your thing you're doing is getting bitched out. Mid card works. Where in the mid card?
I'll put him next to Garcia. Honestly, he's been prominent. He's in the top program.
I know you're not gonna like this. You got to bump Chris Jericho up. Not a whole rung, but in this tier, he's way too low in this tier. How is he behind Deanna in this tier?
All right, you know what? Just fuck it. Fuck it. Like, it's just like, fuck it, man. Like, I want this nigga in mid. I want this nigga in mid. But you're right. He's too probably featured. He's too probably featured. All right. And then we close things off with arguably maybe the person who had the best year for AEW, Will Ospreay. Comes into the company, well, before he finishes off his run with New Japan Pro Wrestling with an excellent matchup against David Finlay and Jon Moxley for the Global Heavyweight Championship at Wrestle Kingdom. He then gets involved and finish up a rivalry with the Bullet Club War Dogs. They have one of the most brutal and violent matches of the whole entire year, the Dog Pound Steel Cage matchup that injured and ended the career of two different individuals. So that was one of the most violent matches of the whole entire year, for sure. They came up short there, put over the Bullet Club War Dogs. In between there, he had a 5-star matchup with Kazuchika Okada at Battle in the Valley. Makes his debut in AEW. Immediately has a 5-star matchup with Konosuke Takeshita at Revolution. Has one of the greatest in-ring matches of all time against Bryan Danielson at AEW Dynasty. Turns around and wins the AEW International Championship against Roderick Strong. In between all of that, he wins the first ever Casino Gauntlet, puts on a classic with Kyle Fletcher on TV, puts over another in-ring TV classic against Claudio Castagnoli, puts on another great matchup against Shibata over on Collision. He goes into Forbidden Door, the number 1 contender. Awesome build with Swerve Strickland, using their history together, their former friendship, making Swerve into the antagonist as he's the popular babyface, becomes one of the best promo guys in this company out of nowhere. It's just like, wow, this guy talks. He's one of the best promo guys. It was like a surprise at first, and then it just became something that just became the norm. He gets into the what I thought was a excellent rivalry with MJF heading into All In with the 1-hour matchup on Dynamite, the great matchup at All In Wembley Stadium. Tears it up with Pac blowing the roof off in a show stealer at All Out. One of the greatest triple threats of all time against Takeshita and Ricochet at Wrestle Dream. Loses the International Championship there. Puts on a star-making performance for Kyle Fletcher at Full Gear. Now he's in the Continental Classic, tearing it up there. Will Ospreay, there may not be a better in-ring wrestler than him, but he's also proven to be a very kind of a likable babyface character, kind of the everyday babyface model for All Elite Wrestling, and also an amazing promo worker, promo guy, because he connects with people and he is so believable to the fans. So that is Will Ospreay's 2024. Your thoughts?
I'm not gonna let you get away with that fucking Ospreay MJF nonsense.
It was a great rivalry overall.
2 great matches. That's not a great rivalry. That's 2 great matches.
Great rivalry. It's a great rivalry.
Rivalry was ass.
At 2 off weeks. You're judging the rivalry on 2 off weeks.
I'm judging the rivalry on this 1980s ass Sergeant Slaughter ass bill. Get the fuck out of here. It's 2024. What are we doing?
Yeah, they only went heavy on that for 2 weeks.
Nigga, you only had that much build up. You already had the first match. What do you mean? We're not doing this. We're not excusing awfulness.
I'm not excusing any awfulness.
MJF paid the price for it. He's got to pay the price for it too. He could be at the. Nah, I can't put him at Swerve anyway. He could be, sadly, blacker than Swerve anyway. He can be at the bottom of the keep at all costs. You know what? He did have main character vibes early on. Even though he decided to spend it all on Kyle Fletcher. Why would you do that? I don't know. Those top 6 are really hard to fucking mix and match.
Yeah, I'm gonna suggest Moxley gets to the top of main event, only because I know, yes, he's the main character right now. I know he's the main character right now. I know he's the main character right now, but he did have that gap where he wasn't there. He wasn't there. He did come back, when he wins the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, but he wasn't really.
And I put more power in a position than Swerve. Don't forget. Don't forget. First champion that showed on the show. Don't forget. I didn't forget.
That was true. That was true.
If I had to move anybody down, it would. I don't want to be. Ironically, you're probably one of the first two. No disrespect. I know I'm only doing this because I don't like the way it looks. I just don't like the way it looks at all. 6 and 4. I just don't like the way it looks. It's probably fine the way it is. I just don't like the way it looks.
I'm the same way, though. I understand. I understand. I'm that same way. I'm like, what do y'all got to go down? What do y'all got to go
down? So we're keeping Darby. We agree on Darby? He's had an incredible year.
Yeah, he had an incredible year where he feels like he's the next AEW World Champion.
Yeah, we're keeping Swerve. Swerve had a fantastic year.
Yes.
As sick as that makes me. Ospreay had a fantastic year.
Yes. Bryan had a fantastic year.
Bryan did have a fantastic year. The question is, it ended prematurely before the year was out.
Okay. But that's still 10 months. That's a lot of months. That's a lot.
You're gonna make me do it.
The only one that I can't say had a fantastic year is actually Jon Moxley. That's why I suggested Moxley. Everyone else I can say had a fantastic year.
I mean, didn't Toni Storm just get back? I don't want to be rude. I love Toni Storm. Did she just get back?
That's the first 8 months of the year she was at the top of her game. I mean, we could. You can. I can understand penalizing her for the 3-month, 4-month gap not being in AEW.
I'm gonna take out the only woman. What am I, Tony Khan?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't want to do that. That's why I suggested Moxley. I was like, it's either Moxley or Storm, and I was like, I think that we would get in less trouble for Moxley.
Trouble. I'm just saying, Moxley. When was the last time we've seen a character built around in AEW? It's like MJF last year, when they got this much TV time, were treated as this important. I mean, first half's not great. No, you can move Moxley just so I don't have a fucking stroke.
Top of the main event, though.
Yes.
Now
we're only gonna penalize the black woman. I agree.
I'm done. How do you rank the keep at all the cost? How do you rank it?
Swerve's at the top. It's disgusting. Then I probably go Ospreay, Darby, Tony, and Dragon.
Wow, Dragon at the bottom?
I know he. First of all, you keep forgetting he lost to Jack Perry. You keep forgetting this. You gotta remember this when you're ranking people.
He's like, you gotta remember this fact, dog. You gotta remember this.
Lost a mid-card guy, and not even a top mid-card guy. Come on, man. Then his first title defense was against Jack Perry. We can't forget these. Didn't even main event. We can't forget these things. I'm sorry. I love you, Dragon. Come on now.
All right. So we got Swerve, Ospreay, Darby, Timeless Tony, and Bryan. Keep at all costs.
And I would say this. There's another wrinkle I didn't throw in there as this video goes impossibly long.
I was like, we're not gonna do it for 3 hours like we did last year, and I was already convinced. I was like, yep, we're gonna do that again.
Darby, to me, I don't know the actual stats. You know better than I. Darby's taking by far the most losses on that fucking list.
1,000%. He lost it to Kesta. He lost to Claudio. He lost to Moxley.
Oh, yeah, like that. I might put him to the back.
Jack Perry. He also lost to Jack Perry.
Oh, this is a good point.
In his own matchup. Bryan deserves to be above this nigga. I'm sorry.
We gotta move Tony too. Tony was a champion, world champion.
Yeah. So Tony's above. Darby could go to the bottom because he doesn't have any of the. Everyone else on this list had singles championships in the year. Darby won the tag titles, but Darby didn't win a singles title.
Oh, that's very true. I like that list.
Main event, we got Moxley, Willow, Hangman, Christian, MJF. How do we rank it?
Off the top of my fucking head, Willow and Christian have to go to the back. Okay. Willow probably the back. Sorry. Just not the way she's treated. It is what it is. Moxley at the top. Hangman, MJF. Yeah. MJF's had a horrible year, but he's always treated as important when he's there. Yeah, I like that list.
Then we got the All-Star. So now we get into the crowded territories here with All-Star and mid-card. All-Star, how are we going to rank this? So we said Joe is at the top, then Mariah May, then Mercedes.
I might.
And then we could shuffle any of these after.
I mean, off GP, Sting's got to be 4.
Yeah.
Takeshita, Bucks, Okada, Jay White, Statlander.
That seems like a good first row.
Yeah. Yeah, Fletcher. Yeah, I like that spot.
Yeah.
I might move Orange Cassidy ahead of Claudio.
I think you're right. Yeah. Second half of the year has been strong for Orange.
Managers and back.
Briscoes and Hurt Syndicate, and then the managers.
I like it.
Great. Mid card, you made this executive decision. Chris Jericho at the top of mid card. We got Jack Perry, Daniel Garcia, Wheeler Yuta, Roger Strong, Thunder Rosa, FTR, Private Party. So I think the first row is good.
Yeah.
And Ricochet, Deanna, Hook, Marina Shafir, Brody, Malachi, Beast Mortos, Jeff Jarrett, Juice, Kyle O'Reilly, Harley Cameron.
Kyle O'Reilly's he's probably got to move up. So we're not going to take
Jarrett
away the fact
or Beast?
Past Beast. He loses 50,000 people every time he's on screen. 2 weeks in a row, Battle Royal, and the Cole segment. I forget. Fucking heinous. It might be the worst. That's up there. We gotta do like a list of who's lost the most viewers all time. Adam Cole with the devil stuff in his recent shit has got to be an all-time ass motherfucker. We're gonna keep Marina there. I think we might have to move Deanna back. I don't want to do it, but we might have to move Deanna behind
Hook and Marina.
Yeah.
Seems about right.
That looks good. Harley Cameron's really high up. She deserves it. She's fantastic.
She does. Deserve better. Jamie Hayter has to be at the top of Deserve Better.
Yes, she deserves everything.
Along with Athena. Then we can kind of shuffle anything after that. Got Aminata, Velvet. Got the ROH champions in here. What do you think?
I don't want to be biased, but I might have to move Big Bill up.
I don't mind. Big Bill could go third. Behind Athena and Hayter.
Buddy, Hologram, Diamante, Roosh, Cage, Shibata, and Nick Wayne. I don't even care enough to fix this list. I ain't gonna hold you.
I'll put Diamante back here since she's more like a ROH. I'll put her at last. ROH.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we got the biggest group, the Mid.
Lord.
We got the ROH Tag Team Champions. They'll sit at top. So Guns, Top Flight, Commander, Anna Jay. Then we got our former AEW Women's World Champions who are now jobbers to the Stars, and Serena Deeb. Lance Archer, Brian Keith, Jay Lethal, Action Andretti, Mother Wayne, Johnny TV, Abaddon, Dutch and Vincent. We'll put the Righteous together here.
Okay.
Wherever they are. Emi Sakura, Lee Johnson, Gates of Agony, Layla Gray. We'll put Layla Gray with the rest of our crew. Put the crew together. Yeah, Leo Rush isn't on this list, ironically. Josh Woods, Taya Valkyrie, Dark Order. Where's the rest of your crew? Put you with your crew too. John Silver is in there. Yeah. And we'll put Taya with her husband. AR Fox, Daddy Magic, Angelico, Premier Athletes. Put them all together. Where's Sanjay and where's Lethal? There you go. Undisputed Kingdom, Butcher and Blade, Sean Dean.
That's what you get. All that'll be nice. It'd be nice to Sean Dean. Already got a swerve today. We're gonna leave Sean Dean alone.
Niggas always hurt. Kenny Omega, Britt Baker,
Obviously.
Adam Cole, Adam Copeland, Eddie Kingston, Keith Lee, Julia Hart, Kira Hogan, Layla Hirsch, Mercedes Martinez, Penelope Ford, Bandito, Yuka Sakazaki, Wardlow, Kip Sabian, Riho, Cool Hand Ange, Ruby Soho, Kill Switch, who's that? Sky Blue, Kota Ibushi, Ty Mello, Chuck Taylor, Paul White, Cole Cabana, Mark Davis, Matt Seidel, Jalistico, Anthony Ogogo, Danhausen, Peter Avalon, Griff Garrison, Nick Camarado, Ortiz, Trent Beretta, Scorpio Sky, Powerhouse Hobbs, Preston Vance.
All right.
I think
Omega's
Hobbs
out number one.
Needs to be at the top.
Yeah. No disrespect, but I know we're saying they're hurt, but I'm not going to pretend like they didn't have a year. Adam Cole's got to move back, and he's probably got to go behind Julia Hart. You've been heinous when you've been around. Not your fault for a lot of it, but you have been heinous. No disrespect. I don't want to do this. Not because she's been heinous, but Britt has moved back too.
Ooh. How far?
She just does. Ahead of Adam Cole. She'd been that bad. And we gotta move Wardlow up.
Oh yes, he does belong. He does belong with the crew. Where is he at?
Second row in the middle.
Oh,
because that stupid haircut.
Yeah. All right, Kara Hogan, you stick up like a sore thumb in this top row. Let's put Bandito. He's getting vignettes. Hey. Yeah, he's getting vignettes. So he belongs in the top half of the rest of y'all. I don't even know when y'all coming back. Kota Ibushi, you can get up to the second row because you could be under Kenny's. There you go. And contract not renewed. We got two versions of Camille before Mercedes, after Mercedes. Karen Jarrett, Michael Nakazawa, Madison Rain, Aaron Solo, Rebel, Brandon Cutler, Daddy Ass Bully Gun just for the Jay White match, Alex Abrahantes, Luther, Miro, Serpentico, the Lucha Bros, Ricky Starks.
Goddamn shame.
And Ricky,
absolutely
to the top. Lucha Bros, y'all get to the top. Y'all are the most talented in this group. Miro, you can get behind. Right before Camille. The Camille's.
I like it.
There is our list. There is our tier list. What a beautiful beautiful solid stuff. Jimmy, I had so much fun doing this once again. I love breaking down the years of these AEW talents, and our tier list looks very well put together.
Right? It looks nice to look at. It's pleasant looking. Not 6 and 4 like before. It's 5 and 5.
I think we had the same issue. We're getting better. 2024 in these tier lists is getting better because I believe we only had 4 in each of the top 2 last year. We only had 4 in each of the top 2 last year. This year we got 5. So two more people. I believe it's Willow and Ospreay are like the new additions to the top 2 because I think Darby was in the second tier last year.
So clearly it's not a talent issue.
That only could mean one thing. But anyway, Jimmy, thank you as always. We will share this tier list over on our social media platforms as well as the community post when we post this video. This is a long one, so we appreciate anyone who watched the whole thing, who made it to the end of the video. Share your thoughts if you're watching the premiere in the live chat or in the comments down below if you're watching on demand. Let us know where you think everyone belongs in our tier list, or do you think that we got it right? Which we know we did, but we need your confirmation. Jimmy Macram, thank you as always for joining me for the tier list. And I'll ask you while we're filming this, will you join me to break down the WWE one? And I promise you, we will go faster.
Depends on when that is. The answer is probably no.
But fair enough. Depends. Let everybody know where they can follow you, sir.
Oh! To follow up on the AEW, the Dynamite review we had, you can follow me on Twitter because I'm back on Twitter because I saw some stuff about Jay-Z's Witness Day accuser. I don't hear any apologies. I don't hear enough apologies coming out for Hove, but that's okay. It's neither here nor there. At Jimmy Macram on Twitter, on YouTube, where we fucking wait to fucking throwing the most damning of accusations against one of the greatest rappers ever. But it's nothing here nor there.
Eminem's better. Anyway, but post your comments down below. Like, share, subscribe. Follow me on the Twitter machine at TrueHillSP3. Follow the gang, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at TrueHillHeat. You can see me and Jimmy every Thursday, 1:05 p.m. Eastern Time with AE Ramble, the best AEW Dynamite review in the land. And you can join us every end of the year for our AEW massive tier list. I think we're the only YouTube channel who does this comprehensive of a breakdown of the AEW roster at the end of the year. So tell a friend to check it out. But me and Jimmy will be back with you with AE Ramble whenever you're watching this. But until then, for Jimmy Macram, it is me, your True Heel Phenom SP3. This has been our AEW tier list for 2024. We are signing off until next time.